maybe a reversal of a relationship, which of course so far maybe sedate or smooth between the North and the Southwest. And so those who are insinuating that there could be a rough end relationship with the North and the Southwest is also should be thinking better. So he has also put a bone on the side of the Southwest leaders. So for me, he now came in and said, let there be a discussion, adding flesh on both sides. He has done what he should do considering his position. I don't think whoever is thinking anyhow, if you are saying he doesn't want to ruffle the feathers of federal government, why should he? Is he not part of them? That is the truth. Let's be practical about the whole thing.
Why should he, of course? Still on the Vanguard, though, and still with Amotekun. This one says, Amotekun with vote of no confidence on Buhari in presidency, coming from the PDP. Amotekun, a vote of no confidence on Buhari presidency. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party yesterday said the emergence of the Southwest Security Outfit and other security apparatus are indications of a vote of no confidence on the ability of the president to secure Nigerians and their property. Well said in their perspective, but at the time the PDP was ruling, we also had many people who had security outfits to help themselves. At the end of the day, the aim is to see that the country is safe and not to paint anybody bad or make anybody look silly or not doing their job. So perhaps the PDP is just coming from an opposition party perspective.
I have told you this philosophy or scenario of a polygamous family. I've said it, and I keep on saying that, and that is the truth. That is exactly what happens between the PDP and APC. The federal government of Nigeria, that's Nigerian Federation, is the husband. And both of them are saying, this one loves me, that one hates me, and all that, like wives will do in a polygamous family. But I tell you, they have made a point. Yes, because what else will you call it? Will you be going to look for perhaps what you could look at a massive regional outfit, security outfit, if federal authorities, if all the structures for security had worked 100%, at least, let's say even 80%. No, you can't do that. There won't be need for it to be. If you have such outfit, it will just be little ones, skeletal outfits for security, perhaps in villages or towns. But now it looks like a regional outfit. So, because people will say government did not do its duties, but when you look at it, the other side of the coin, you know, it's not only one face to a coin. You will understand, like you rightly stated, that the PDP, such scenarios existed when they had their way in Aso Rock. And so, is it amounting to kettle calling pot black when both of them are used not with gas but with firewood?
Well, that's their stand. The party noted that the failure to take decisive steps to stem, I quote, the escalated wave of killings by insurgents, the refusal to reject the security high command, and the lack of commitment to track down and prosecute even confessed perpetrators of mindless killings are all pointers that the Buhari-led All Progressives Congress APC administration cannot guarantee the security of lives and properties in our nation. End of quote. That's coming from the PDP. Well, still on the Vanguard, it still concerns Amotekun. They're everywhere today. North should be ready for Amotekun. Arewa youth leader Shetima. The North should be ready for Amotekun. If you look at this statement, controversies continue to trail the formation of a security outfit to tackle rising threats in the Southwest. The Northern Group has thrown its weight behind the group known as Amotekun. The president of Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, Alhaji Yerima Shetima, said that the North also should be ready for Amotekun. The question now is, when he says the North should be ready, what exactly does he mean? Because Shetima said that rather than dismissing Amotekun as illegal and vilifying the Southwest governors for their ingenuity in setting up the security outfit, the federal government should team up with the governors and ensure the workability of the outfit. I quote, I am a strong supporter of community policing given the state of insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in the northern part of the country, and I believe that Amotekun is the right step in the right direction, which should be supported by all women in Nigerians. As far as I'm concerned, the North should get ready to start its own version of Amotekun in order to be able to tackle the rising wave of insecurity in the region. It is only when one is alive that there could be governance. Okay, so now we get what he's trying
That's
to
like
say.
Emmanuel Ndukwe talking there.
I was about saying that. It's when there's life that you can do anything.
You cannot be in the grave and then know anything about Amoteku illegality. So I think for me, the position of the Northern youth is only stating what I believe is the correct thing. Liaising with government and liaising with the leaders of the 6 states of the southwest to find out exactly the modalities that could be set for it to work very smoothly, as smooth as any human activity can be. But when you clamp illegality on it, Andrew, I do not understand. They went to the president's place, and I'm sure they had a discussion. And the declaration was not made exactly as the parade finished. While they were there at the discussion stage, would it not have been very easy to have suggested to them, considering the position of the president of the nation and with a retinue of allies and the aides, to tell us, Oga, this thing is not going to look at the sore points and all that. And they would have told these people to go home and tidy up these loose ends. Not after everything you had gone, saying, okay, I've made the highest sheriff, as it were, in the land, and then what you had taken to him will now be pronounced illegal. I don't understand. It's embarrassing somehow. I want to believe that they met with the police, whichever hierarchy, and I'm not sure there's any other hierarchy that will take its own personal decision without liaising with the Inspector General of Police.
Yes.
So this issue of coming out with illegality is what I do not know. It's like maybe medicine after death. And that is why these people keep on saying, we've been brainstorming and doing everything, and you did not see it illegal. It's not as if you don't know. But I'm specific about Malame, who said they did not liaise with him. That's an error if they didn't. Because Malami
but should he be the one they liaise with? They have their own attorney generals in the states.
No, the attorney general of the state should liaise with the national attorney general.
Perhaps.
Yes. Because, you see, the reason is that he has come up now. That's why I said when this issue came up, I was with Annie here. I told Annie, it's not a matter of that Malami doesn't have right to his opinion. Certainly, he's a citizen. He has his right. The law covers him to make his pronouncement as he did. But what I'm saying is the aftermath of that pronouncement, because whatever comes out from the table of the Attorney General is looked at being laced fully with law.
But then again, if the state attorney generals have certain powers given to them as commissioners of justice in their respective states, and their job would be basically to interpret the law and look at that and advise the governor appropriately, what then would be a need for them to also seek confirmation from the Minister for Justice before they can carry out what they are going, if they are backed by Constitution to carry out certain functions?
No, I understand where you are going to. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer. Perhaps lawyers may tell us when they call in. I'm not sure that what we are suggesting, people of this mind, that there should have been collaboration in all facets.
Because, for instance, in Rivers State, we didn't hear Malami when the neighborhood watch was instituted.
Yeah, but we knew what happened.
Yeah, but we knew what happened. We knew that it followed the process it should follow, and the House implemented it. After all, perhaps we had everybody that was needed at the state level to make it, because the governors of the states have the powers to organize that. Or at the end of the day, it didn't flag off per se, but if you now put that with what has happened now or what's happening in that region, I mean the legal part of it, then you begin to ask questions as to should they really have spoken to him first before doing what they do? Wouldn't that be rendering their own abilities and powers, according to the Constitution, almost useless?
No, I don't think so. I keep on saying I don't think. See, the reason is simple. I want to believe in this life that certain things the law accepts might be offensive to common sense or perhaps norms of the society. And as a result, people should always think about a better way to do something, because rigidity, as it were, has no place in law if that law is to serve the purpose of the nation. Now, if the Attorney General are by the Constitution told to do what they have done, it won't also be offensive to common sense if they had said, you are our colleague in this our business, the legal business. Look at the positions we all have done, so that he can go through. You know, it is always better to avoid medicine after this situation. Now, if they had liaised with Malami, and Malami pointed out that look at the gray area I have been able, because remember, the zeal is maybe 95% in the minds of the 6 governors of the Southwest. They want to establish what could nip in the bud the problems they've been having along the line of security. Now, all of them may be united and may not be all that very careful to see out the gray areas. This is strictly my opinion. But once they move with others, for instance, collaborate with it, there will be no harm even going across to other areas with where attorney generals could look at this in depth, all of them collectively. And then the gray areas from all those external ones are pointed out. They look at it. There wouldn't have been any objection or disruption now. They will look at issues. But when you say, and the law enables me to do this, you did remember that you are not perfect. Where if you make mistakes, internationally as it will, nationally it comes out, it will be punctured. And that will stop it. And that's what I was telling Annie that day that, you see, as Malami made that pronouncement, it's strictly his own opinion, no doubt. But how can Amoteku still move ahead? While the Attorney General of the Federation has, by his pronouncement, placed an illegality gap on it. That cap of illegality will be drawing it backward. Okay. And that is what is happening now. So I think what will happen, I don't know why it has become an issue like this. The Southwest leaders are holding on to their fort, and the federal government is doing. Why not approach the court? Whatever final pronouncement from the court, we have it that
that's
way.
What we take. Okay. Well, let's move on to another headline. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, one more from the Vanguard. We won't sign minimum wage agreement that will lead to retrenchment in Ondo labor. We won't sign minimum wage agreement that would lead to retrenchment rather, in Ondo. The NLC speaking there that they wouldn't sign it, any minimum wage that will impoverish or lead to retrenchment of the workforce. The first question would be, what kind of minimum wage would impoverish people? If they're increasing your monies and say we're paying you more, would that impoverish anybody? Perhaps we'll have to look at it and get what they're trying to say. It was coming from the chairman of the NLC in that state. His name is Mr. Sunday Adeleye Oluwole. Quickly, let me first off introduce in the studio Abaka Dokubo, former chairman NUJ Rivers State. You're welcome, sir. Happy New Year.
Good morning, Andrew. Happy New Year to you.
This is like the first time we're sitting across each other in the studio. All right. So back to Ondo State on the Vanguard. He said that negotiations over the new minimum wage, which had hitherto been suspended, had now resumed and that it was 85% concluded, saying the process may be concluded before the end of this week. According to him, the delay in minimum wage approval and implementation in the state is due to the insistence of the organized labor led by JNC, NLC, and TUC to get a better package for the workers and pensioners. The NLC chairman noted that the new salary tables presented by the state government were being critically studied to ensure that the agreed new salaries would be sustainable and not lead to irregular payment and mass retrenchment. The only time we could say that mass retrenchment would occur, or perhaps payments don't become regular, would be one in a situation where the monies to be paid to the workers, the minimum wage is too huge. Hence, the government can't meet up because they might not have funds that would complement or that would, equate the demands of labor. And that would be the case. And that's been the complaint of many states, though, by the way, even before this time, that 30,000 naira was too much. So is he in any way saying that in their state, we might see the government go against the law, which is very impossible because it's now a law that 30,000 naira be paid as the minimum wage? Or is it suggested that the other structural adjustment is what would be gravely affected, or maybe the arrears would not be paid? Where would he be coming from when he says this?
I wonder where it's coming from. this kind of argument, opposition, I thought would have been coming from the government.
And if you look at it carefully, it seems like he was blaming Labour for the delay. And he's the Labour chairman in his state, because he says that the implementation in the state is due to the insistence, the delay is due to the insistence of JNC, NLC, and TUC. Meanwhile, you're the state chairman of NLC, so you kind of make it look like for you want it to happen, but the NLC wants it to drag.
I honestly don't understand so much of what they have said, because I thought it would, it is government angle that will be speaking this way. But if Labour is now beginning to make excuses for government, then I find it very absurd. Well, it could only mean that probably, on the other hand, maybe government has placed all the cards on the table, and they have seen that when you look at government revenues and what eventually this will amount to at the end of the day, probably it will be difficult and will probably force government to either downsize or get into issues of irregular payments. But I, like I said, I thought that argument should be coming from the government. I don't believe that there is any state in this country that cannot pay minimum wage. Least of all Ondo State, for crying out loud. So many states in the north that don't have the resources that Ondo State has.
And they are paying.
Ekiti State is paying. So
Adamawa
why
is
would
paying.
Ondo State like Ondo State now tell us this kind of thing, and they have put it in the mouth of labor leaders, for crying out loud, to be the ones to be saying this. For me, as far as labor minimum wage is concerned, maybe he's talking about the consequential adjustments,
Perhaps.
and the percentages there. And if that be so, there's no problem with that. They can continue to negotiate and dialogue on that and get to those things. But I do believe that every state will be able to pay if only government decides to be to think outside the box and to.
All right,
get.
Mr. Malundukwe.
Well, I think Apaka has answered the question, since we didn't have other views expressed by him. What I have in mind is that there's no other thing. Perhaps he has seen everything about government, and they've shown him that. Yeah, it's true. Ideally, there is no state government that will not be able to pay. And that is if they become very much creative to maybe look out of the box and then generate revenue internally. Perhaps also opening other flanks that could generate more funds for the state. They'll be able to pay. But in the interim, that there is no such ingenuity and, of course, opening of other areas. What else? What they have remains what they have. And instead of, now you know that this particular package of government, so far they have, will not be able to carry the whole thing as introduced. What will you do? And that is, I'm reasoning that it could be why he's talking the way he's talking. Because if you now say, let's just, because everybody can pay, and there is no moves to make it possible, because the ability to pay is the key. Now you lack that ability. Are you now going to say, okay, government can say, okay, come in 3 months, 4 months, they'll start sacking people so that they will be able to pay the number that will remain. Okay. That is what I think that guy is talking about. Okay. But I also believe that government of that particular state could also create more avenues to generate money internally. They must not be relying on the allocation from federal government so as to be able to pay.
All right. All right, let's move on to the Nation newspaper. Here he says, I will sack anyone who lobbies. Tambuwal wants permanent secretaries. I will sack anyone who lobbies. To say that anyone will be sacked, not bribe, but lobbying, because I'm sure Tambuwal himself lobbied that a few times. He must have lobbied. That's what happens within the political space. But he is insisting that he would sack anyone that lobbies. He swore in 4 new permanent secretaries yesterday, with a caveat that I will reverse the appointment of anyone who comes to lobby for posting. Did anyone not lobby to even become the permanent secretary, first of all? So we'll start from. Wasn't there lobbying to be appointed, first of all, permanent secretaries before we talk about lobbying for posted? He spoke on a brief ceremony and told the new appointees to accept wherever they are assigned to work in the state service when he swore them in. I quote, "I am convinced that you are all experienced personnel and you know the rudiments which will add value to the development and productivity of the service to the people of the state." But lobbying is seen as, me personally call it a legal form of bribery, because it's almost the same thing. We just give it a different name. Lobby to get what you want. Is it worth sacking or reversing an appointment because somebody lobbied? I mean, it's what happens in politics.
No, you see, when you say lobby, one, you're a permanent secretary. The other one now is you want to look at juicy ministries.
But
you
of
want
course,
to be posted
that is what happens
ministries.
everywhere.
So when you do that, you create a lot of pressure in the system, and sometimes, mind you, the governor would want to put square pegs in square holes.
Okay.
Competence should come into it. Qualifications should come into it. What ministry you're going, he will look at your track record, look at the competences and all of that before eventually making the postings. So these are the things that should, for him, I mean, thinking for the governor now, for him, whatever, without pressure, we want to do it to ensure that we achieve our goals. At the end of the day, let people who are qualified and competent to do certain jobs be placed in areas that. But when you begin to lobby, as a tendency, there's a very high, probability that you're going to alter that. Somebody who is not qualified or who doesn't have the competence to man a certain ministry will now begin to lobby to go there only to go there. What are you going there to do? Just for the perks of office. Not that you are qualified to be able to handle that particular ministry. So these are
perhaps if every single ministry is up and running and the government allows every single ministry to function in its capacity and do what it ought to do and make adequate provisions, there wouldn't be any need to lobby. Because some people would lobby to go to certain ministries because other ministries are moribund. Like, it's almost like nothing is happening there, and you wouldn't want to just go and be there when funds don't come. You can't do anything. Doesn't that also, cause people to want to go to a certain area instead?
And that is usually not the case. Usually, people lobby to go to areas they think they will have more opportunities to get themselves certain advantages. That's actually what it is. Even when all ministries are working optimally and you have resources given to them, again, there are those who by what they do would have more than others. It's not every other ministry that will be like every other one. No, you have works, you have environment, you have, these are, they call them A or grade A ministries and all that. So these are sometimes the juicy ones that people want to be posted to. The activities and the things that they undertake are not as much as others, and so what it attracts to them is also not so much. You don't have that much in other ministries.
Mr. Malondukwe, what do you make of it? Is it enough
with
to
the
reverse
explanations
appointments?
of Opaka, which I believe will be better than mine along that line, but I think what's his name?
Tambowal
is operating on the philosophy of do as I say and not as I do. I must tell you, because whichever way you look at it, lobbying is part of politics, civil service, everywhere. Lobbying everywhere, not only in all those areas mentioned. Now, I think it's a better way of handling issues without bribery. Yes, at least the ideal thing it should mean. You don't go with Ghana must go, even though that's how we attach it in Nigerian lobbying. But I tell you, when you go and then you plead and then have your way, it's better than I'm going to give you 1 million naira and you give me this. and is given to you when you are not up to that. But even as they had the cases and all that, they will always be lobbying. Let it favor me. You might be on point and you have all the requisite qualifications. You are not pleading that you don't have mistaken kindness as it should be given to you. No. You are saying, please, let me have an in here. That's all. So if Tambuwal is coming to tell somebody not to lobby, and he, as the chief executive of Sokoto State, and I believe in his political career so far, he would have lobbied several times.
Could still be lobbying.
For things to work his way. That's why I say would have. So I'm not, I know I'm choosing my words very carefully. But I want to believe that lobbying is part of politics. So if he is doing that, but he doesn't want another person to do that, that's operating on the wavelength of do as I say and not as I do. And I don't think it's healthy for management in any sector.
All right.
Sorry, in this regard, there's the second leg.
Yeah.
Much as you are asking these people not to lobby, also ask those people who have the responsibility of doing what they
Not to
had
call
do,
them to come and
not
lobby.
to be affected. I mean, refuse to be influenced by whatever anybody.
Because that's what will also prompt lobbying.
That's where it is.
Because the person who holds the knife, you would have to talk to him to ensure that you cut appropriately and do not.
That is it.
Well, still on the Nation newspaper, Army officers, 7 soldiers die in Boko Haram ambush. It's a headline on the Nation still. 6 soldiers have been feared killed in a battle with Boko Haram fighters in Mainak, close to Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. It was gathered from security sources that the incident, which occurred at about 1 p.m., also left on Tuesday, also left 5 soldiers wounded and 2 others have gone missing. One of the sources, however, said some of the terrorists were killed and many others were also injured. It's on the Nation newspaper. Also on the Nation, 18 die as Lassa fever spreads to 9 states. 18 die as Lassa fever spreads to 9 states. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control was making this revelation and said that 82 cases of Lassa fever, including 14 deaths, have been confirmed from 7 states. They are Ondo, Edo, Ebonyi, Taraba, Plateau, Bauchi, and Ogun State. 2 other states, Kano and Delta, yesterday confirmed 4 deaths from the virus. 2 doctors and a patient died in Kano. A single mother died in Delta. Painful as it sounds, we also have the coronavirus, which is hitting in China. The government here in Nigeria has put everybody on red alert to ensure that people in China, Nigerians in China, are properly checked, especially even any other person who's coming from China who's visiting the country should be properly checked. This is where we begin to question our health system, our health facility, and we might begin. This is where you would say we are perhaps, should I say, paying for not putting adequate time into addressing, improper development of some of the sectors in our country that would have helped us prepare better for days like this. And the Lassa fever situation, you would expect that we have serious sensitization going on from the NOA, from the Ministry of Health, and so on and so forth. You hardly even hear any ad on radio or on TV to sensitize people, or any extension worker perhaps going to communities and villages talking to people saying this is what you should do and not do. Are we really ready to tackle this problem? I mean, Lassa fever has been something that's been on for long, and to think that we haven't still been saying anything about it till this date, and we're having this number of lives gone just like that, isn't that something? Is it something we should begin to worry about?
I don't know. It's almost like every other thing that we do in this country. We just wait until it gets to our neck. Then we use the fire brigade approach. This appears to be spreading 9 states now. Who knows? It's moving. And it's a very serious public health issue. You want to think that by now, you wouldn't have to hear it only in the news. You probably, like you said, organs of government responsible for the public enlightenment and sensitization would have swung into action and then seriously raise the alarm appropriately, so that we don't get to a crisis point, and then begin to run helter-skelter. It's important. The coronavirus that you're talking about, I don't know what. Again, even here, it is quiet, as it were.
Nobody's even talking about it. Yeah,
nobody's talking about
perhaps
it.
Until we have a case.
And we know how much Chinese are here doing so much.
And
everywhere.
Nigerians are in China. In Wuhan, it has a high percentage of Nigerians in Wuhan where the virus actually started. And those people might come home.
You can imagine and it's already spread. It's now even
it's
in
gone
the
to
US.
Korea. It's gone to the US, Japan.
It's and so I don't know the level of the Chinese in this place and how much we deal with China in these days. I mean, there's scarcely anything now you're doing in Nigeria that you don't see Chinese product. It's just everywhere, and we are silent. It's so quiet here. It's worrisome.
It brings us to lobbying.
It's worrisome.
So some people now look at the ministry because you would wonder, why isn't the Ministry of Health doing something? Why aren't they saying something? Why? Who's there? Who's working there? Perhaps the person lobbied and now doesn't know what to do. It's very possible. Okay, Mr. Maladundukwe, let's get your thoughts.
See, Andrew, I always go with my philosophy that because the last question you asked, who is in the Ministry of Health? So I have always come out with this philosophy, plainest, that a minister can be as effective and efficient as his principal makes him. Now, if you check the budget of Nigeria,
what goes to health?
Year after year, what percentage of the total amount goes to the health ministries? Because you cannot give what you don't have. If Lassa fever comes, Ebola comes, whatever, even is it the
coronavirus?
Good. The whole thing is that what preparations have been made, and do you have the wherewithal to make such preparations? And government has never been serious to make that preparation for Nigerians. And that is why they allocated pittance, as it were, in the budget for health. So, I don't know. I don't say the Nigerian government seem to prefer being a reactionary instead of being proactive. That's the fact. Now, if it happens, you remember what happened when exactly about Ebola?
Yes.
How all the health workers, everybody, and I think one died.
The woman that first, she was the person who even saved us because she actually was a sacrificial lamb.
Good. So the fact remains that as soon as it happens, that look at China relationship with Nigeria. Yet what the corona or whatever virus is happening there, and you are not thinking about setting up your health apparatus to make sure that should it come, like they are ordering anybody that comes to airport has to go. Have you fixed the facility for such checks? When it happens, we'll start running from pillar to post.
Well, if you take a close, detailed look into that, says according to the latest figures from the NDDC in its Lassa fever situation report, 255 suspected cases were recorded. A summary of the current weekly indicators: the number of new confirmed cases rose from 18 in week 1 to 64 in week 2. And that tells you that nothing is being done. That's why it's growing in the rate that it's not just geometric. I don't think we have to think of some other ways to quantify the progression. Out of which 12 people have lost their lives, 158 suspected cases with a case fatality ratio is 18.8%, and that's high in 12 local government areas: Ondo, Edo, Ebonyi, Taraba, Plateau, Bauchi, and Ogun states. I quote, the number of deaths has increased. The overall case fatality rate for 2020 is 17.1%, which is lower than the CFR for the same period during 2019. It brings us to ask, now, these states that also are facing what they are facing now, what are the governors doing? What are the governors doing? And for states that haven't even experienced this yet, we expect that the governors will take this seriously and speak to their commissioners of health and everybody begin to sensitize their people within their domain. That's Delta State. It's not far from us. Delta State is just there. Ebonyi is here. It's not far from us. So what are we doing here in Rivers State? What is Bayelsa State doing? What are the governors also doing? What are they doing to ensure that they sensitize their people and keep everybody safe? Because we haven't heard anything.
I think that's what we should expect, and we should urge them to do. The issues that we're talking about are not the other one. Looking at China, but the world is already a global village. But here within our own doorsteps, people move around anyhow. I mean, we're very, very free. We'll come in, we'll go out, just like that. So we should, at this point, urge the entire federation. The federal government should be able to raise the alarm, sound the gong, and then let every state join in this to ensure that we get ourselves out of it does not go beyond what we already have. I think it's a clarion call that must go out to the government to be able to do that. Beyond that, our Lassa fever is caused mainly.
And from indications, it appears to seem like this happens mostly in rural areas. And that's where you begin to bring the local government into question.
Exactly.
And then we all know the state of local government in the country. So it's almost like we're paying for the sins that we've committed for years and not properly, managing things or allowing arms of government to operate as they should, or people do what they need to do. Now it's when you would say, okay, the local governments are the closest to the people. If they were well funded and they've been working, as they ought to, it would have been easier for them to get across to those people in the rural areas and send the message across to them.
Well, they may be in the rural areas. They may be within the
do they have the funds?
Within the constituency or the jurisdiction of the local government, but they are Nigerians, and so every tier of government should be
up and doing.
Should be involved in this.
All
and
right.
for me, as individuals, as families, as people, we all have a responsibility to sensitize our people to know exactly how to handle their environment.
All right, let me quickly introduce Dr. Emmanuel Iwayenama, chartered arbitrator, mediator, management consultant, and socio-economic commentator. So you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, sir. I wanted to say it first.
It's not complete now. And table shaker.
Table shaker. I'm sure it's going to shake a lot of tables today. Quickly, before we go, because time is already fast spent, we have an interview coming up in the next 2 minutes. But let's just look at this on the Daily Sun. It says, foreign partners sabotaging efforts to extradite Diezani Magu speaking here. The acting chairman of the EFCC has raised the alarm that some foreign partners have been sabotaging the efforts of the anti-graft agency to extradite the former Minister of Petroleum, Diezani Alice Madueke. This is not particular to him or to Nigeria. I know that Huawei have their chief financial officer. There's still battle. She's in Canada, I think, at the moment. There's a battle to extradite her to the US, and that's not been able to work for many reasons. And the EFCC complained about this now. Well, perhaps they have to do a better homework. Let's quickly just get a few words from you, Dr. Emmanuel, before we go for our interview.
There is no real homework they will do. The truth of the matter is very simple, that these persons are the persons that stock the TV things, as it were. So they wouldn't want to they know the implications. I've always said that nobody will like this country or any country more than the owners of the country themselves. So most of these foreign persons would think that love us so much, actually will never love us any much. This is one example. They shout anti-corruption, they abuse us and give us all the funny names we've seen over the years. But when it comes to action, you will never find it. Diezani's extradition will be difficult as long as those countries benefit from the loots that she keeps in those
But the
countries.
case of former governor of Delta State, Ibori, it took a while, but eventually.
It's a chance game. It's a chance game. Depending on who is there at any particular point in time. Every country is ruled by...
Perhaps the worth you have would also determine...
That's what I mean, and how it could affect them. The ones we're talking about, have we been able to get all the funds back, even after the convictions? We've not been able to get all of them back.
Okay. We'll take a very short break. When we return to this quest, we'll continue, and I'm pretty sure you'll be in for a lot of exciting conversation, so you don't want to touch your dial. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this interview and the news update.
Talk radio.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
it's your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. And Geraldine is with us again, a representative of Odebola Properties. This morning, she's here to give you some good news. I know you must have been hearing, but you have a chance to go to Dubai. Yes, you have that chance. So how are you doing, Geraldine?
I'm doing good. This morning.
Properties, have they been sold out?
Yes.
At the Quiet Heaven layout. Quiet Heaven layout, right?
Yes,
phase 2.
Yes, we still have some plots left. So
okay. So what are you waiting for then? That's what we should be.
We want them to come and invest.
Okay.
So we are waiting for you to come and invest in our Quiet Heaven layout phase 2 and get the opportunity to travel to Dubai with Akas Baba and Nidum Wazobia. Just one plot qualifies you for that. There is no raffle draw. There's nothing. Just get one plot out of our Quiet Heaven layout phase 2 and you qualify to travel to Dubai this May. We are looking at May, so you can travel to Dubai with that, and the property is going for 2.5 million. We are not asking you for agent fee or anything. It's all that 2.5 million covers everything. So we are encouraging you investors to come and invest in a very lucrative area. You know, the international airport is a very wonderful place to invest. Those that are interested in landed properties, even you that have the money and you're saying, okay, I have this money in my account, we encourage you, come and invest in landed property. Is one thing that you will invest in and you will never regret, because it serves from generation to generation.
Okay.
It doesn't just end with you. Your children inherit, and you can use
and it's always appreciated.
Yes, it's always appreciated. The worst case is that you get and you resell, but there's nothing like in building and having things on the building and having an area such as the airport. Going out of Nigeria, even Lagos, Abuja, you will notice that
you skip traffic first of all.
Yes.
That's the very important part.
It's very important to invest around those areas, and we are encouraging you. Yes, it's Greater Port Harcourt, and we are saying come and invest now that you can get it at an affordable price. You just come and invest and wait. But that area, that immediately after the international, this property that is on promo is already developed. It's not. We are not telling you you wait till next year. If you get the property, you can start your building immediately, because we have put infrastructures there. We are working on the road. That's why we say you can come and book for inspections, so that you come and see it. Let's not be like we are just telling you this is how the property is. You see it yourself. We have already installed electric poles, so all you have to do, get your building, connect light to your house. We have already made the base for the transformer. So we are not just selling an empty plot for you. We're already providing infrastructures that will help investors to actually plan what they want. So, and this plot at this wonderful, immediately after the new international airport, gives you the opportunity to travel to Dubai. Just a way of us in Odebola Property saying thank you. We have other properties, but this particular property is the one we are telling you to invest in. But in case those that are not interested in the property, can also go for other properties. That's why the inspection, you will see other properties. So you make your choice. Yes.
All right.
So those that really want to book, we have this Saturday to see the property for yourself. You can actually send I'm interested to 070 6452 5131. The number again, 070 64525131, and book an inspection with us. Come and see the property, or you can come to our office at Inyewale in Sirim Layout off Tombia Extension GRA and book a date with us. Let's just come and invest. We're encouraging invest and have the opportunity to be a landowner. Imagine owning part of the earth is one of the amazing feeling that you can ever have. Seriously.
Owning part of the earth.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
You're in control.
Yes, just send I'm interested to 070 6452 5131. Again, 070 6452 5131, and book for an inspection with us this Saturday.
Okay. Thank you very much, Geraldine, for your time. So don't waste any more time. You get the chance to go to Dubai. And there are other properties you can also look out for, courtesy of Odebola Properties. Once again, thank you. Have a great day.
Yes,
the news update is next. Stay tuned.
ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good morning, and this is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Ifeemi Andrew. The Ministry of Health in Ebonyi State has confirmed the death of a 75-year-old woman from Lassa fever infection. The ministry's permanent secretary, Dr. Ifeanyi Agujiobi, in a statement said the victim was brought to the State University Teaching Hospital 10 days ago with symptoms similar to malaria. It disclosed that she started vomiting blood, which raised concerns of the likelihood that she had been infected of the hemorrhagic viral disease. The statement revealed that said sample was taken to virology center at Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, and it was confirmed to be positive of Lassa fever. The permanent secretary, however, assured that the State Ministry of Health Public Health Department has stepped up action to decontaminate all sections of the hospital that the patient was managed, including the ICU unit. He said that the National Center for Disease Control had been contacted and are making every arrangement to send in some health materials to support the state's Ministry of Health. Meanwhile, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, has issued travel alerts to sensitize passengers on the spread of the deadly coronavirus, which broke out in China and now spread into parts of Asia. FAN advised passengers and other airport users to comply with all quarantine procedures at the nation's airports. FAN, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health, has said adequate facilities are in place at the nation's airports to prevent the importation of the virus through the airports. General Manager, Corporate Communication of FAN, Henrietta Yakubu, in a statement said passengers inbound at all the nation's international gateways have been advised to submit themselves for routine quarantine checks when asked to do so. Coronavirus symptoms include a runny nose, cough, sore throat, possibly a headache, and maybe a fever, which can last for a couple of days. The deadly virus known as coronavirus broke out in China and has since killed 9 people, with over 440 people also reported to have been infected. The virus is highly communicable and has already spread to border countries like Japan, Thailand, and South Korea. And the Rivers State House of Assembly Committee on Public Accounts has recommended that 0.3% of local government council funds be deducted monthly to fund Office of Auditor General for Local Government. Chairman of the committee, Major Jack, said this during the presentation of the committee report on the audit bill. He said the recommendation was in line with Section 116 of the Rivers State Local Government Law No. 5 of 2018. The committee also recommended that the remuneration, salaries, and other entitlements of the Auditor General for the state shall be charged upon the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the state. The committee also recommended that the Auditor General of the state or any person authorized by him to audit government business enterprises shall ensure forensic, financial compliance or value for money audit in performing his functions, noting that Auditor General for the state shall liaise with any person, relevant federal government authorities, ministries, departments, agency, and international bodies for proper discharge of his duties. And on the foreign scene, a sense of anxiety is growing in Wuhan as the Chinese city goes into lockdown in an effort to control the spread of a deadly virus, which has left 17 people dead. The authorities have suspended outbound planes and trains into the city, as well as buses, subways, and ferries. Residents have been told not to leave the city of 11 million people. There are more than 500 confirmed cases of the virus, which is spread overseas. Officials in Hong Kong reported the territory's first 2 cases of the coronavirus on Wednesday, and 1 case was reported in the nearby city of Macau. The first United States case was confirmed on Tuesday. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time, and bye-bye for now.
Port Harcourt.
Where you are mocked, my God, give you a miracle.
5 Nights of Glory 2020.
That thing that followed your lineage has ended today. You will be accepted from that evil in the name of Jesus.
Come and encounter the Word, worship, miracles, breakthroughs, signs and wonders, and salvation.
My God, supply all your needs.
All road leads to Salvation Ministries, the home of success. Block 17 Berry Street, GRA Port Harcourt, and all her viewing centers globally.
Where you said yes, go and love. Where you are rejected, be accepted.
Date 20th to 24th of January 2020. Time 4:30 p.m. daily.
In your academics, in your marriage, in your life, Struggle has ended in the name of Jesus.
Welcome to Returns Market Investment Nigeria Limited, a financial home that has impacted lives and given meaning to every life and home and companies with values using the international capital market business for the past 3 years in Port Harcourt. Returns Market Investment Nigeria Limited is strictly into the international capital market business that delivers 10% returns on investment monthly with a minimum startup capital of 300,000 naira and a maximum capital of 100 million naira. If you are looking for 100% security of your funds and constant delivery of your returns on investment, then think Returns Market Investment Nigeria Limited. Contact our head office today at number 33B Rumola Stadium Link Road, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, or our branch office at number 10 NTA Road, Rumokuta Checkpoint Junction, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, or call us now on 0903 650 7708. You can also visit our website at www.returnsinvestment.
Right, your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. This still is your premium talk radio station. My name is Ifemi Andrew.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. This still is your premium talk radio station. My name is Ifemi Andrew, and I have a fine gentleman with me here in the studio, Mr. Gabriel Hero. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
He's a health and business consultant, and today we want to look at healthy beverage campaign. Healthy beverage campaign. The campaign on healthy beverage consumption, Mr. Gabriel, you mind telling us what that's all about?
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk about the healthy beverage campaign and why we need to consume healthy beverages every day in our lives. As we all know that beverages are very essential items in our meal plan. They are very essential items that come up on our menu. I know that 1 in every 3 families consume beverages every morning. And we can also agree that 1 in every 3 children love to drink beverages. And at least 90% of students in boarding schools depend on beverages for their daily meal subsidy. You know, if you go to most hotels, the guests depend on beverages to stimulate them or spice up their mood. Most sedentary professionals and hard workers are constantly in need of beverages to reduce stress. 1 in every 3 men above 30 years suffer from weak erection, quick ejaculation, and other things that have to do with health. And all of these are things that we can look up to from the side of the things that they consume. At least of 80% of women in menopause require, some special kind of beverages to control their problems that are associated with the menopause. So when you look at all of these things put together, it has meant us to come up with an informed decision to tell the public that there is need for us to begin to look at the kind of things that we are consuming every day.
Okay, the kind of things that you consume. So for this healthy beverage campaign you're pushing forward, who should consume healthy beverage? Is it something that, like, you gave us some stats now? Is it something that even little children should look at, or when you get to a certain age, then you should be very cautious of the kind of beverage you consume? Who should consume healthy beverage?
All right, thank you very much. Healthy beverage should be consumed by all age brackets of human beings. From a pregnant woman requires a special kind of healthy beverage so as to help the child in the womb to develop a better IQ. You know, it is the brain function, the brain development in infants and children is adequately propelled by the amount of DHA in the brain. And this DHA is what we find in omega-3 fats. And all of these things are, part of them are embedded in the beverage that people consume. But sometimes you see that some persons don't even have access to this kind of beverages. Now you look at the elderly persons, like those who are above 60s, who are into 70s now. Some of them are battling with one health challenge or the other, maybe diabetes, maybe one chronic disease or the other, that requires them not to take maybe sugar or food that contain sugar. So how are we going to look at these and look at the everyday lifestyle that we're living? People are stressed, people are tired, people are getting worked up every day, people are worried, So a man who is worried cannot sleep at night. A woman who is having something that she's trying to catch up with, something that's bothering her, cannot possibly live a very happy life. And all of this, when you are stressed or when you're packed up, it's not good for the body. So are we having these kind of things? Are we having beverages that someone can take to cut down stress? Are we having beverages that an elderly person can take and is going to reduce the blood sugar drastically? Are we having beverages that a child can take at night, and when he or she wakes up in the morning and goes to school, the performance in class can become far, far better? These are the things that we're looking at this.
All right, before I move on to the next question, let me quickly inform our listener that you can actually join the conversation. You can send us a text message with your questions, okay? Send it to 0803-768-9958. Send your text messages your questions in form of text messages to 0803-768-9958. That's the number you can send your questions to, and we'll be getting them. I'm sure you'll be getting answers here. So back to you now, Mr. Gabriel. What took so long? Why did you have to wait this long before starting this sort of campaign? And in one breath, you can also tell us the future of beverage and food consumption in general.
Oh, well, I think the campaign has been on and running for a while, but we've not actually been on air in these parts of the country to educate people. We've been doing what I call a spot-on education, where we go from hubs, hamlets, villages, to sensitize people. But we also think that it's necessary to come on air and educate people. We've been doing this for a while, for the past 1 year, getting to 2 years now. We've been telling people that you need to consume what is right for your body. We've been telling parents that you need to give what is right for your children. We've been telling people that we're not trying to phase out the regular kind of beverages, but at least whatever you are taking in should play an important role in your overall health status. And then secondly, for the second question, the future of beverage and food consumption is very, very important because of the alarming statistics of health-related challenges that people are facing every day, especially in this part of sub-Saharan Africa. We consume a lot of carbohydrates. Most of our meal is made up of over 70 to 80% of carbohydrates, and we take layers of fruits and vegetables. And when you look at all of these things, you realize that we wake up every day and people are complaining of sicknesses at 40s, 50s. You go to the hospitals, you have issues of diabetes, you have issues of high blood sugar and all of that. So the future of food and beverages, food consumption generally, is something that we should begin to take very important in our homes.
If anyone wants to be a volunteer, perhaps to join the campaign, is there any special benefit that's attached to it?
Yeah, we have a lot of benefits attached to those who are willing to join us, even from today, because we are starting, we are going to have a live seminar today, this morning, starting from 10:30. We're starting accreditation by 10:30 this morning up to 11. But by 11 o'clock till 12 o'clock on the day, we are going to have a very big seminar where a lot of experts are coming out of the country to also train and teach volunteers who are able or willing to join us to go out there and educate a lot of people about healthy beverage consumption.
Very quickly, because we don't have a lot of time, let's just run through some questions that came in from the text messages here. ABA from our one says, I would like to attend your live seminar, so as to know more about this wonderful campaign. Okay, so how, if you can tell us, Joy from Rumola also says, how can I be a part of your campaign? This one here says, I love to drink mineral in the morning and beer at night. Is it a crime? Collins from Achille, okay? A beer man. And okay, so for those, okay, Okay, before we get to that, can you just quickly give us answers to some of this?
I think the last question said he loves to drink mineral in the morning and beer at night, and it's asking if it's a crime. For me, I don't think it's a crime for you to take whatever you want to take, but it is it is harmful to your body if you don't know the proportion, the size of what you're taking. And for those who actually want to join us, like the ladies who have asked to join us and how to join us, all you need to do is text YES, YAS, to 0803 768 9958. I call again, 0803 768 9958.
Okay, you got that number. So if you're interested, you want to be a volunteer, you want to be a member, just SMS the word YES to 0803 768 9958. Again, 0803 768 9958. Let's get your last words before you go, Mr. Gabriel.
Okay, I want to appreciate everyone who have been part and parcel of what we are doing here live on radio. I'm calling on everyone out there, families, to begin to consider this. Volunteers out there, come out today. Just text your yes to 0803 768 9958 if you are really willing to work with us. I can tell you that there is so much for you. There's so much in offer for you who is ready to team up with us and help human race to come out of what is coming big against our health in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hero, for your time.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we're talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
Port Harcourt says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook,
www.facebook.com/Today95.1 FM.
Or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we're talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
Port Harcourt says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook,
www.facebook.com/Today95.1 FM.
or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962.
Your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. Welcome back from that break. It's time for opinion poll. And we promised you a heated conversation, and you're going to get exactly that. It already started even before we came on air. It is already heated here in the studio. Ifeami Andrew is my name. Obaka Dokubo, former chairman NUJ Rivers State, is here with us in the studio, and Dr. Emmanuel Irwayenama, chartered arbitrator, mediator, management consultant, and socioeconomic commentator, is also live with us. And Mr. Emmanuel Lundukoy, of course, here in the studio. And an opinion poll today, quite a range of issues to look at, and we'll just try to take about two of them together, or three of them if possible. It depends on the time that we have on our hands. First off is a statement from the governor of Benue State. He says, we have failed this country as leaders. That would be him, including himself, of course. We have failed this country as leaders. Governor Samuel Ortom, he yesterday regretted that the present crop of leaders have failed the country in the discharge of their responsibilities, and urged the people to pray fervently for Nigeria's leaders. Governor Ortom spoke when he hosted the leadership of CAN Benue chapter, who visited to congratulate him over the validation of his victory at the Supreme Court. He also condoled with the CAN community over the death of one of its member and a bishop in one of the dioceses who lost his lives in the hands of terrorists. He said, and I quote, "My heart bleeds. It is an unfortunate thing that we have gotten where we are today in our country. I call on security agencies to arrest the situation because no one is safe. Today, it is the CAN chairman. Tomorrow, it can be another person. Even the security agencies themselves are not safe, as they are also being kidnapped by Boko Haram. Even the citizens are being kidnapped. I call on the Christian family to continue to pray for Mr. President and for all other leaders in the country, including the security agencies. God has the powers to grant wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to leaders to be able to do the right things at the right place and at the right time so that peace will reign. Let God help us, we who are the leaders, because today I must say that we have failed the people of Nigeria. I am part of it. I'm not exempting myself. We have failed them. It is a collective failure." We'll pause at that point. Quite a few things. The outright question would be, leaders in Nigeria, have they really failed? That would be the outright question. Leaders in Nigeria, have they really failed? There was some will argue, no, they haven't. Others will argue, yes, they have. Some might try to be in the middle or make reasons why you would say at every given time, every leader contributed one way or the other to promoting the country or to bringing it down. Whichever way you want to look at it, do you agree with Samuel Ortom on the failure of leaders in the country? Let's start with you, Obaka Dokubo.
I don't know. It's simply looking at what is leadership supposed to be doing. What's the purpose of leadership? why do we have leaders? Why are we not all on the same page? Or in any society, in any group, you have leaders. The simple fact that everybody at the same time wouldn't be able to, will not be on the same pedestal, and so you elect leaders. Sometimes you select them, and then ask them to take charge of the affairs of that particular group, organization, the state or country, at whatever level. And so, in doing so, there is usually a collective aspiration. As individuals, you want to make progress, and that is the way as groups and as nations, you also want to see how you move ahead. And that is, for me, the responsibility of leadership, to take on the collective vision of the group, and then to ensure that you achieve the collective aspirations of these people, and ensure that the organization runs smoothly and for the benefit of everybody else. So the question is, at this level, as simple as it is, in Nigeria, what have we gotten? Are we at the point where we will now say yes? Our collective aspiration is achieved? Is the country working for individuals for the benefit of everybody or for some? Are we better off? Are we satisfied with how far we have come? Are we satisfied with where we are? And for me, if we're satisfied, of course, the rumblings that we have in the system today, we won't have them. So if Samuel Otom says leadership has failed, I'm not sure he's saying anything new. I think for him, probably he has a conscience to say yes, he has looked at it for whatever it is to admit it. But how many of his kind actually admit that indeed leadership has been a problem? And not just saying it for the sake of saying it, but saying it with a determination and a commitment to make a difference.
Because I was about saying, would the circumstance also had contributed to why he said this, owing to the fact that you had a religious organization visit, and perhaps that prompted you to try to speak religiously, and not out of a sense of conviction within yourself that, of course, yes, I'm failing too as a leader and I need to do something different. Because the next thing we want to see is, okay, now that you realize that you failed, let's see the steps you're taking after that day to correct your errors in the past and make your state better, at least where you can control. Because if you look at his statement further, he re-emphasized, and I quote, "We have failed this country as leaders, but I pray that God would help us to see the pains that our people are going through. Let God help us. So for everyone with responsibility, even you manipulate the people, you should know that you cannot manipulate God. The day of reckoning and judgment is coming when you will stand before God to explain or give account of what you've done. So I urge you, everyone in this country, in any position of responsibility you find yourself, please discharge it with the fear of God. And join all leaders, including myself. Let us work and discharge our responsibilities with the fear of God. Give good leadership."
For me, see, this issue of
let me just add, was it just including myself? to make the comment more holistic. Because if you look critically, it's almost like it's talking to, some people, but it's just adding myself at the end. So people do not say, "What about you? Aren't you a leader? Are you doing very well?"
No, I don't have a problem with him saying, "Look, I'm inclusive." Of course, he's a leader in his own right, and a very high-ranking one at that. You're leading the entire people of Benue State. That is a very serious responsibility. For me, this issue of God will help us. That one, God has already helped you. I don't leave God out of it.
His major hinge on
I don't
this,
like that.
It's hinging majorly on the insecurity. That's what is really prompting most of what he's saying, because he cited Katsina State as an example to say what's happening in Benue. He said also in Katsina State, you see people running here and there, fear of bandits and all of those things happening there as well. Nobody can sleep with their two eyes closed, he says.
See, the issue, what I don't like about it is this issue of God will help us. God, don't make it look like, it is because God has not helped you. That's why you're where you are. Why are you bringing God into it? You want to push the blame to God.
God did not cause it.
You want to push the blame to God. It's not God. In other areas, in other climes where things are working, is it God? Don't
don't have God there.
It's our responsibility. It's individual. God has already put in you everything that you need to function and to succeed and to get things done properly. So the moment you are not doing it, you don't go back to say blame God and say that God will let God put in our leaders. God is putting there. They have refused to do it and they are doing something else. So we should take responsibility. I think that's the point there. The leadership, the followership, everybody in this country should take responsibility for where we are and the kind of terrible things we have found ourselves in, and make a commitment to change things. So for me, whatever he has said, I don't want to think that it's difficult for me to say, he's just speaking just for the sake of talking. Maybe he's woken up and realized that, yes, but that is one man. It takes on everybody. The responsibility is on everybody at that level. For me, yes, the followership, yes, but the leadership, the moment they get it right, we get it right at that leadership level, it's very like everything will fall in place.
Okay.
So let him not just mouth it, but let us want to see in practical terms what he as a person, not collective now, because he sits in a position where he can determine the destiny of a lot of the people of Benue State. So let us see in him that commitment, and let us see how we moving forward, how he actually what he does to show that truly he feels sober and that he is going to deliver to the people of Benue State the best that he can.
All right, before we move on to Dr. Emmanuel Leroy-Yenama, let's also introduce Dr. Emmanuel Wona, lecturer, Department of Political Science, University of Port Harcourt. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Andy.
So God is with us three times.
In
one space.
So let nobody go and tell God that no,
God is with us. Three times. All right, let's move over now to Dr. Emmanuel Leroy-Yenama. You heard his comments, the comments of the governor of Benue State. And this basically is hinged on insecurity. And that's perhaps where he's coming from, maybe. I don't know if he's saying that leaders have failed us in every sphere, but the example and what has prompted this statement from him would be the recent beheading of the CAN member and the clergyman, and then other forms of insecurity that he cited while he was speaking in Katsina and perhaps other places, including Benue State. And he says for that reason, leaders have failed everyone in Nigeria, including himself as a leader, has failed the people. Have we really failed in leadership?
The statement is as obvious as it is. Perhaps the only thing I want to add is that no leader becomes a leader without being a follower. Limiting to just leadership for me is not going to solve the problem, because Every leader you find today and before was at one point or the other a follower. And if he was a good follower, I doubt how he would have changed to becoming a bad leader.
Wouldn't that be relative?
That's not relativity in it, and that's the problem we have. I'll tell you straight.
I'm coming, Doc. I'm coming with the sense of what followership means to us. Is where I'm coming from. In Nigeria, what you would understand as followership. For instance, people follow certain leaders, knowing that these leaders are doing wrong, but then the followership in that sense is be loyal and follow and do whatever you're told until you get a chance to also be there. So in that
what
case,
is the probability that you will change when you get there?
Exactly the point. No, it's
so
perhaps I'm not expecting you to change, but I'm saying isn't the problem because you in the statement there you said that until we look at followership. So I'm saying even the followership, isn't it something that has been designed to look in a certain way by leaders who want you to follow?
Nothing have designed it. We designed it.
If you're not the loyal level, you cannot get what you're looking for.
Let's say nothing have designed it, and I think these are the kind of excuses we give to ourselves to remain where we are, thinking that systems have kept us that way. No systems have kept you the way you are. We have allowed those systems to rule us within that circumstance. And that's the very simple truth. Now, take it back to what he said. Now, when Autumn said, we've heard this kind of stories severally, virtually at their supposedly remote state, you hear them begin to pontificate and want us to believe that
there's a change in the heart.
Some new things will happen thereafter. And after that same time, we'll still see the same persons. Like those persons, I don't know, like the church persons will always tell you, they will tell you that, I think it's written in the Bible also, where they said, the heart of man, not just wicked, though.
Desperately wicked.
So for me, it only takes a disciplined mind to kill that desperation. To kill that desperation to make it have good. And that's what we lack as the people in the country. Whether it's followership or leadership, we just follow the bandwagon. Now, coming to look at whether it is true, like you asked, if they failed. Of course, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you any story. It's to look at the things that are happening in the country to ask yourself, were there ever leaders? Because if the things that are happening in this country are ready to go by, it raises a serious leadership followership question. What has the people? Why has this happened? The level of security inactiveness as it's where we're finding today, it's not something that happened in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's not. It's been there. We've looked at it right before us, believing that it does not concern us, only to find now that it concerns us even more than what we think does not concern us. I don't really. So that's the kind of level we've pushed ourselves into. And until perhaps we all get to asking these correct leadership followership questions, as Autumn has raised for leaders, perhaps we'll begin to ask the holistic leadership followership issue in Nigeria. We may not get anywhere. All we'll be doing is to, at one point or the other, either a follower comes to say, I will want to become good followers here from, and it ends there, or a leader like Autumn has done now will come and to tell you, we want to be good leaders here from. That's the kind of thing we'll begin to continue to say. And like all of us have said here, God. Who told you is God? God does not work for people. God works with people. So the good or bad we get is what we have created for ourselves. Nigerians must look beyond what is happening now. They must look beyond just those that are leading and tell themselves, if these leaders live here now, the next leaders, where are they coming from? They're coming from within us.
And so they might have the same system.
Can we be better to say these are the bad ones? So let us say these bad ones in XYZ time, by our constitution, they will leave office. So we'll get the good ones to take over those positions. Until we begin to get to that level, we'll keep coming from time to time to say.
There's a saying that says that if people, a society gets the leaders it deserves. Is that the situation in Nigeria?
That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. You can't get it from elsewhere. We've had Nigerians who are in leadership positions outside the country
doing well.
We've not heard this kind of things we hear about them while they are here. Because they've gone to societies where they want to do something, and so they'll go there, they do something. Perhaps bring those same persons down here, they will goof.
But we had the Ngozi and Koje Wellas and the rest of them who came with all the Harvard experience, but the economy still wouldn't change.
I should tell you
Kemi Adeosun and the rest of them.
Kemi
Adeosun and the rest of them had to just peacefully leave because it wasn't changing. Now, if you look at that,
no, she didn't leave voluntarily.
It wasn't voluntarily, but somebody said perhaps she only came and reported herself by herself that she doesn't have jam, so she can leave. That's on one side. But if we look at it carefully and then we analyze societies that seem to be working better than ours, at least it's not that it's perfect, and we look at our own society, wouldn't you agree that for a society to function effectively, it takes equal amount of leadership and followership?
Oh, that's what we've just said. We've said that. Just outside the studio, I was talking to Apaka, and I said, one of the areas we got it wrong when it comes to managing the economy was when a leader in this country told Nigerians, and they took it hook, line, and sinker, that the problem of this country was not how to make money, but how to spend money.
But I hold you. You said that a lot, and I've always said I'll have a chance to hold you on that, and I want to now. Now, at the time that man said that, many Nigerians now were not born, didn't hear it, didn't know it, and didn't care.
What do you pass on?
Now, there are a new breed of people who are complaining about the situation of things, are trying to work hard to make a living for themselves. They find it quite difficult to attain that goal. So would you say the statement that was made all of those years
has to do with your upbringing? You pass on the things you know and believe to the next generation. I said, well,
it's a natural process.
It's a very natural process. It's passed on.
So you're saying,
I'm coming. I'll learn for you. So I'll give you the picture clearly. Now, when a man gives birth to a child, and because he has some free money, everything the child requires, he gives to that child. What has it started producing? Started making the child know that production has no meaning.
It's useless.
It's useless. That money will come. So the child comes up. The probability is that if the child also inherits that free money, he too will pass on to the next generation of persons that same lifestyle of not understanding what it means to making money. Except somewhere along the line, somebody slaps him to get his senses back to say, hey, what I really do it.
Are you saying in all those years till now, along the line, there's been no change in Nigeria?
Even till now, it's getting worse every day. A time it was when we had the capability of producing what we eat, and it was almost compulsory until we started finding what was called the free money to spend. So there was so much of it. Dodgy brought several money. Some teachers that were farmers and some schools that were actually still farming at that period stopped what they were doing. And so people had so much cash in their hand. That was the kind of things he taught people. And so all they started doing was to begin to look for foreign things that they would use that money for. Of course, internally, they were not producing that much to spend that money on. So they turned outside. Today, what do we have? Today, we import virtually everything. As bad as pepper. Go around all the markets, you'll find Cameroon pepper. As if there is no Nigerian pepper again. Go to bathing soaps, you'll find soaps from Cotonou. So that's the kind of problem we have already in our hand. Now, until we begin to do something, every other day you say the economy did not work. Of course, economy seems not to work. Economy does not work by somebody studying there to reel out theories. It doesn't work. It's when the theories are out there, people buy into the theories, that they can create effect on whatever the theory is. Otherwise, the theory will remain there, it will remain till the kingdom come.
But my question now is, before we move on, would be this. With regards to the thesis you've put before us, saying that comment that was made at the time,
just one of them, and the actions
largely responsible for what we have now. I'm saying
no, it's not hardly responsible, but part of.
Okay, now perhaps if we put it as part of that, it might. Then I might not need to ask my next question, because I was about to say, wouldn't it be still very unbelievable to say that comment is why all Nigerians, or the Nigerians, are wrong? Because I'm sure that there are many other Nigerians who see things differently. And it's not as a result of that comment.
Do a small you may not know. I've given you other scenarios that could have resulted from that kind of comment. The other ones did not have business with the comment. I just give you one here where I said the man got some free money and because of that he started grooming persons at a level. Now the person that is grooming at that level didn't hear the comment. They had no direct business with the comment, but they are suffering from the outcome of that comment and the action that came after that comment. That's what they're suffering. They don't know the comment. The action the comment created. The comment resulted to somebody having what he was supposed to have in the first instance. The man feels manna falls from heaven. I'm coming. So by that scene that was created from that comment, the man's attitude in training people thereafter
was based on that comment.
He doesn't need to even tell you the comment.
And people who got into power at that time came into power with that state circle. And we've had the same people rule us in circles in this country.
And that's what we're
just in that comment. So if that is the case, then leadership should have a serious share of the blame for not also being able to see differently.
I have not removed leadership from the problem. In fact, that somebody aided you to do
something
I'm
saying they should have a serious share or a larger share.
All of us do have it. I don't want to rationalize how much I want to share to which other group. The truth is very simple. All of us are part of it. And for leadership, my argument has always been very clear on leadership. A society gets the kind of leaders she wants at every point in time.
Okay.
For every leader that comes is a product of the general society. He was at one point or the other a follower.
Okay.
So a followership is right, as it were. It's right. And I keep saying this. If we now are able to engineer a proper followership, these leaders, handful of leaders, will have no room to keep us perpetually where we are.
Okay. All right. Let's move on now to Dr. Emmanuel Warner. Get his own opinion on this. Is a lecturer at the Department of Political Science, University of Port Harcourt. When you look at the situation on ground and the statement that leaders are failures, Dr. Irwayenama has rightly said that it's very obvious if you look at the happenings around us that, leaders have failed us. Do you look at it from the same perspective?
Well, first let me say that, there's what is called generational equity, which of course finds expression in generational justice, where it is expected that present generation should be able to plan and ensure that there is that comfort and opportunities for generations yet to come. And when that happens, you find out that the present generation does everything possible to ensure that good values and opportunities are transferred to generations yet to come. But unfortunately, we find this part of the globe that will have also again what we call generational gap, where the present generation seem not to be planning futuristically for generations yet to come. They seem not to transfer the needed values that can also reorientate and groom the generations yet to come. And that's the problem we're having. I'm just talking from the statement they credited one of the leaders in those days. So you find a situation where ordinarily you have leaders who are supposed to galvanize opportunities and values, ensure that these things are put in place, ensure that systems are working, to the extent that these things can also be transferred to the next generation. But unfortunately, you find a situation where, you were talking about followership. We had expected in a democratic dispensation that followers should have appreciable influence on leadership. What is it when you talk about, electorates having the political sovereignty, the ultimate power? It's because they are there to checkmate the activities of their leaders. They have what it takes. But unfortunately, that is not. And that is because followership has become so docile to the extent that, you find in place what I've always been referring to as prebenda politics.
When the Constitution was drafted, were the people, the followers involved in the process?
Yeah, you see, when you talk about Constitution in this country, of course, you and I know that there have never been a time Nigerians came together to draft a Constitution for themselves. What we have now, President, is a product of military government.
In that case, wasn't it perhaps the leaders who sat down and knew that if we had some level of proper followership and a certain level of power that will come with it, if we have it, it would afterwards affect their own position and their ability to do certain things. And that's why perhaps the leaders decided to do it how they did. So if that's the case, wouldn't the leaders be the major problem that we have?
No.
In as much as they come out from the society and we get what we deserve, but hasn't there been some systematic approach to trying to malign followership and put it into a tight corner?
Exactly. Nobody is doubting the fact that more than 90% of the problem we have in this country is leadership. But again, you see, I've said this severally, that leaders in this country also know that, look, if, for instance, they begin to improve economic activities, begin to empower people, the economy begin to improve,
You begin to have many.
Of course, what it means, therefore, is that, for instance, during elections, you may not have that. Nobody will look at your face to even collect 1,000 naira or 5,000 from you, or begin to collect rap and rice just to mortgage their conscience. So if people are empowered economically, it will go a long way to also avoid some of these electoral irregularities we find in our society. If people are meaningfully engaged, of course, you may not even find youth who are available to go and snatch ballot boxes when they are busy utilizing their God-given brain and mentality for the development of society. Where would they get them? Some of these children who are children of these political elites, are they here? Are they the ones carrying ballot boxes? You can just go out the street now and look at boys who are not doing anything, idling away, and say, hey, I'm going to give you 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira, come and do this job for me. What do you expect? So they know very well that the moment they begin to improve the economy of this country to the extent that people are empowered,
yes,
poverty is reduced drastically, they will know that they are in for a serious game, and they will not do what they are doing presently now. So that is the game plan. So, but if you look at it from the perspective of security, like we are talking, of course, you know that I've often explained the fact that, look, you cannot divorce security from the negative objective conditions prevalent in our society in this country. You have vociferous tendencies, you have religious bigotry, religious animosity, ethnicity, poverty, unemployment. All those things are things that are actually giving fillip to the insecurity we have in this country. And until and unless we begin to address them, we'll continue to have this problem. Okay, look at the clergyman that was beheaded, right?
Yes.
Yes. Maybe you look at it from the point of, if care is not taken. In fact, there is also even
because even the Kantman who went on the visit to cut you also was talking about how Christianity was under attack.
Exactly.
That was a comment he made. But then taking that comment seriously might also have another side to it, because we've also had other people being killed who were Christians.
Yeah,
so in that case, you can't say Christianity is under attack.
That's what I was about making. Apart from the fact that you have this inter-religious animosity. Surprisingly, too, you also have intra-religious animosity. You have it. And again, one cannot say clearly that, except on thorough investigation, that this one is what happened and this one, Muslims have come on the decay. If you also look carefully what transpired in the beheading of this clergyman, it may be intra forces within the same Christian group. So it has come to that level where it appears everybody is a suspect. Everybody is a suspect. So security is an issue that we need to look beyond military architecture, to the extent that we have to also begin to consider those negative objective conditions that have put us where we are now. It's important for us to begin to look at that, because if you don't, what it means therefore is that we may be chasing shadow, and of course the problem will continue to stare daily on our faces. So for me, leaders in this country, what is leadership? Leadership is simply said, it's defined as you need to process where you need to influence the people positively, where you chart a course for people to follow. And so if you don't chart the right course, of course, what it means therefore is that you'll be leading them to some kind of, destination that will not be comfortable for them. You'll be charting the wrong course for them. And it's like a blind man leading possibly people who can see. You have blind man, and that's what is happening in this country. Blind people are leading people who can see with their two eyes. And unfortunately, people who can see with their two eyes are sheepishly following the blind people. And that's quite ironical, quite paradoxical. And that's why, even in your small organizations where you work, you find all these things manifesting, even in the communities and families, at every cloak of Nigerian society. And so it's no longer the issue of at the national level. And that's why I've also said that, look, if we also want to make tremendous change in this country, let us start from the little responsibilities given to us in our organizations, in our families, in our communities. It is not only when it comes to national issues, like we're discussing about the beheading of this clergyman. We begin to do all those critical analysis. Yet the people who are also making this criticism
in their own house, right, they are doing something
in
different.
Their little quarter, they are even doing the worst. yesterday I was addressing my student. Well, I got into the classroom and I saw young boys dressed like people who are just coming from the forest, and I was so surprised. And you know, in those days when we were in university, young people would take it as pride to dress decently. Because, you know, on a lighter note, it may be a good market for the opposite sex. Mm-hmm. I was asking them, how do you convince...
You were a champion of that, I remember.
I was asking them, how do you convince, a young girl with this kind of tattered look?
But that's what she likes. What you don't realize now is that the young girl don't even see the right thing as the right thing. Now it's the wrong thing that's the perfect thing.
So you know, because where you dress,
there's a backward movement.
Your personality. And I give the serious warning. The next class, I don't want to see people like. So what am I saying? You find out that some of these things have permeated into the looks of Nigerian society to the point that nobody seems to look at values that can transform this society, and it's problematic. It's problematic. So if we want to tackle insecurity in this country, we must start from the basics. And the basic thing that for me is to begin to address those negative social conditions we have found ourselves: oppression, exploitation, political subjugation, vociferous tendencies.
What about the family?
Is it?
The family.
Yeah, even at the level of family. For instance, you get some families where, the man thinks that is the demigod. He loses over everybody, even the wife. He don't even say anything, except he gives order. And sometimes the wife and the children gets to have a sigh of relief when the man leaves his house. That's when you see them at the party. I had a neighbor like that. But as soon as they hear the horn of the cow, the man, everybody, they can hide in fear.
The lion is
coming back. So what kind of home is that? It is all on the other side. There are homes where women also play that role. Yeah. The man hardly takes any decision except madam approves. That's quite unfortunate. So you expect that there should be democracy even at the home. Even in the home. But if you don't find some of these things in the communities at the larger community level, it is even worse. I told us here something that when I was doing my PhD doctoral field study, I visited some communities in the Niger Delta. And what I saw baffled me to the extent that members of the community are held hostage by members of the same community. Because when I asked, I said, why is it that you have these bare pipes crisscrossing the length and breadth of this community? And people don't do anything. Can't you protest? I saw drops of crude oil here and there. Can't you protest to the company? They say, no, you don't. And I said, why? They say, if you do, you'll be paying the supreme price. I said, by who? They say, some members of the community who are contractors who feed far from this community will just kill you with one hand. In fact, they gave me a story where a chief had to inflict a machete cut on his son because the son was on the other side of the community, protesting about the ills of the company. So what are we talking about? So it's that very, very pathetic situation we find ourselves. And then how do you fight injustice when you are already deep-rooted perpetrating injustice? It's not going to be possible. It's not. Until we begin to absorb ourselves, we begin to use detergent to wash ourselves, reorientate ourselves. Clean? I wonder the kind of detergent.
Clean?
Maybe man the way and
what do we have?
They will suggest the detergent. After that, we'll put our heads together
and
to begin to wash ourselves for these things. I mean, there should be no room for hypocrisy. Let's do things. I mean, whatever responsibility is vested on you, you should be able to do that.
So how is it possible that in just a few seconds, because we're about going for the news update,
okay,
and then we return and continue. How possible then is it that we have Nigerians or people who are set to be going through this sort of change in mindset or reorientation? How come they act or perform differently when they are taken into a different society?
Yeah, of course. It's that kind of primitive accumulation mentality, because the general belief or value orientation is that, you get to the office, you get wet overnight. That's the problem we have. We don't have statesmen and women who are in charge of responsibilities. That's the problem we have. And until we begin to have that reorientation and change in attitude and perception of what you think about public offices, then we'll continue to have we'll continue to wallow in this kind of abysmal ignorance, underdevelopment, and poverty we find ourselves, and insecurity. So you find out that, look, the mentality of average Nigerian, minus people in this studio, is that once you get public office, you are going to amass wealth for yourself. That's the central thing. And if you begin to appropriate,
if you are made a commissioner, your family begins to rejoice.
And that's not the point.
Why are they rejoicing?
Exactly. That's the point. And that's why where people say, look, I had a case where somebody, a local government chairman from an area, after 4 years in office, didn't have a car. They said, look at this stupid man.
Okay. Why didn't you buy a car?
Why didn't you buy a car?
So you find what I say is the followership.
Exactly. Let's go for the news update. When we return, today's quest continues. Stay tuned.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good morning. Here is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Ifeemi Andrew. The former Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, is expected to be arraigned today at the Gwagwalada Division of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The former AGF was meant to be arraigned yesterday, but when the case was called, the lead counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Bala Sanga, told the court that the commission had only served the charges on the 5th to the 7th defendants. He said the commission had not served the second defendant, Aliyu Abubakar, because he was on the run and was only arrested yesterday morning. Justice Kutigi thereafter adjourned the hearing till 2 p.m. today. And the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has assured that former Prime Minister of Petroleum Diezani Alison Madueke will be repatriated before the end of the year to face financial crime charges leveled against her. Acting Chairman of the EFCC, Brian Magu, gave the assurance while speaking to newsmen in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, after an inspection of the ongoing recruitment exercise for the commission. He revealed that the country where she is currently being held has not been able to establish any offense she has committed. Meanwhile, Magu maintained that the whistleblower policy is still very active, but suffers setback due to the court process involved. And the Ministry of Health in Ebonyi State has confirmed the death of a 75-year-old woman from Lassa fever infection. The ministry's permanent secretary, Dr. Ifeanyi Ogudiobi, in a statement said the victim was brought to the State University Teaching Hospital 10 days ago with symptoms similar to malaria. It disclosed that she started vomiting blood, which raised concerns of the likelihood that she had been infected of the hemorrhagic viral disease. The statement revealed that said sample was taken to Virology Center at Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, and it was confirmed to be positive of Lassa fever. The permanent secretary, however, assured that the State Ministry of Health Public Health Department has stepped up action to decontaminate all sections of the hospital that the patient was managed, including the ICU unit. He said that the National Center for Disease Control had been contacted and are making every arrangement to send in some health materials to support the state's Ministry of Health. And here in the State House of Assembly Committee on Public Accounts has recommended that 0.3% of local government council funds be deducted monthly to fund Office of Auditor General for Local Government. Chairman of the committee, Major Jack, said this during the presentation of the committee report on the audit bill. He said the recommendation was in line with Section 116 of the River State Local Government Law No. 5 of 2018. The committee also recommended that the remuneration, salaries, and other entitlements of the Auditor General for the state be charged upon the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the state. The committee also recommended that the Auditor General for the state or any person authorized by him to audit government business enterprises shall ensure forensic, financial compliance or value for money audit in performing his functions, noting that Auditor General for the state shall liaise with any person, relevant federal government authorities, ministries, departments, agency, and international bodies for proper discharge of his duties. And on the foreign scene, a sense of anxiety is growing in Wuhan as the Chinese city goes into lockdown in an effort to control the spread of a deadly virus, which has left 17 people dead. The authorities have suspended outbound planes and trains into the city, as well as buses, subways, and ferries. Residents have been told not to leave the city of 11 million people. There are more than 500 confirmed cases of the virus, which has spread overseas. Officials in Hong Kong reported the territory's first 2 cases of the coronavirus on Wednesday, and 1 case was reported in the nearby city of Macau. The first United States case was confirmed on Tuesday. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time. Good morning.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
And
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial. This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
they are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
And
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Okay, this is still your Premium Talk Radio station, Today 95.1 FM, here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt, and we are now 7 minutes past the hour of 10. Ifeimi Andrew, of course, still my name. It's not changing anytime soon. I have some gentlemen with me in the studio. They are representatives of Cyril Mall e-commerce. I hope I'm getting the name correctly when I say Cyril Mall.
You're very correct.
Okay, all right. So I'd just like us to introduce ourselves so our Port Harcourt and beyond gets to meet us. I'll start with the man in blue and glasses. But they're both in glasses.
Good morning, the people of Port Harcourt. Good morning, River State. Good morning, Nigeria. My name is Mr. Okaboku Lucky.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Lucky. And
I'm Jeremiah Odu, your business coach, Cyril.
Okay, because I've spoken with him before. So now it's sticking. All right, you're welcome. Happy New Year to both you guys.
You're welcome.
I'm pretty sure last year was amazing for Cyril Mall.
Sure.
Okay,
That's why we're here again.
Okay, in that case, first off, there are no people who might not have heard about it last year. So the proper thing to do would be to educate them on it. So if you don't mind telling us what is Cyril Mall all about? We'll start with you, Mr. Jeremiah.
Cyril Mall is an e-commerce platform. And like you said, you've seen us before. We've been here before. We talked about Cyril Mall last year in Port Harcourt. And this is the best time to come back and tell Port Harcourt, yes, if you're still doubting about Cyril, then you need to be with us. It's an e-commerce platform. And when we talk about e-commerce, it reminds us of like your Jumia, Amazon, LGG, and the host of all this, where you buy, you walk away, and that is the end. But Cyril has brought something new to the table, and that's the new retail shop that is changing the dynamics of the e-commerce environment.
Okay.
Because the richest man in China, Jack Ma, said something in 2016 that in the next 10 to 20 years from now, the conventional e-commerce platform will all fade away if they don't embrace this new concept of new retail. Now, how does it work? It simply means that unlike the other ones where you shop and it ends there, you walk away, inside it, anything you buy gives you a shop. You own a shop, and your shop begins to generate money for you. All you simply do is know how to navigate with your smartphone. So we've entered an era whereby your phone is only smart when it's making you smart money. That means as you're sleeping, money should be entering into your account on a daily basis. We're feeling that and we're enjoying it. And that's why we're back again to Port Harcourt and Nigeria. Look, the time for us to rewrite the dynamics of our financial equation is now, especially in this era where we're carrying a lot of renovation in Port Harcourt. Construction of flyover, businesses are suffering. Along a bar road, for this time frame, most persons will be out of business. But why not use Cyril Mall to replace that, which is going to give you some discount?
So in other words, with Cyril Mall, you can have your shop online.
Definitely.
Simply by buying a product, and that gives you a shop.
Sure, you have a global touch this time around.
Okay, how do you then stock your shop?
Beautiful. They do that for you. you have an app you're going to download on your phone, or you go through the web browser www.sairimo.com. But it's faster and easier with the Sairimo app on Play Store. Just download it on your phone. Once you
that's
initiate,
spelled. That's spelled SAIRUI.
Beautiful.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So you can download it from the Play Store, and then for having bought any particular item, it gives you a particular shop size. So if you want to eat bigger money, you go for the bigger shop size. And of course, every 10 days, they make sales for you. You initiate the sales and they say, what do you want us to do with it? You just need to sell. The clock will come up counting down in 10 days time. You see your money and your capital at the back office.
So the people shop from that shop you open online. Okay, we'll get to you, Lucky. And then the moment they shop from that, they help you sell the product. So you don't have to do the marketing of selling the product yourself. All you need to do is just shop. They open the shop for you, stock it according to how you purchase, and then people buy from that shop.
Yeah, they sell
that for you
for a profit.
And then you take whatever comes out.
Yes, and they return your capital and your profits to you every 10 days.
Okay. We'll go into more details on that, but let's first of all just inform people what's the event that you're having, because you're here in Port Harcourt, like you've always been. So what is the event that you're having here in Port Harcourt?
Good morning, the people of Port Harcourt. Sairimo, we are organizing a mega business summit. It's going to come up tomorrow, Friday 24th January 2020, and also Saturday 25th of January 2020, and the time for the morning section is 11 a.m. Okay, and the afternoon section is 1 p.m. All right, and this event promises to be, very, very informative and educative. You will agree with me that we are in the information age,
yes,
and by extension the creative age. All right, so this is an era where those who possess digital skill, those who are key players in the ICT industry and the e-commerce space, are people who are taking the lead financially. All right? If you do your research, in fact, a research done by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics showed that in 2019 that the ICT industry in Nigeria contributed in the second quarter of 2019. The contribution of the ICT industry in 2019 surpassed that of the oil and gas industry.
Okay.
All right? So that tells you there's so much money in the ICT and by extension the e-commerce industry. And the global e-commerce industry is worth about $29 trillion. $29 trillion. Okay? And we have four players in the ICT space, the four major ones like the Amazon, the Facebook, the Apple, and the Microsoft. These four companies alone have a net worth of about $4 trillion, which is more than the entire GDP of the whole Africa put together. So you will agree with me that there's so much money in the ICT industry and the e-commerce industry, and Sairimo is playing a pivotal role. And in Sairi, we are not just asking people to come and shop or come and buy. We are also teaching them how to make money and helping them to make money. We make them part owners of this business, where they get profits. Whenever they buy, they make profit. And we also share profits with them.
Okay.
On a weekly basis
now that
and on a monthly basis.
You highlighted
so
this,
there's opportunity for you to make so much money from the comfort of your home. You don't need to stress yourself
now that you
to make money.
Now that you highlighted this, let me just get over to Jerry quickly. If you could tell us more on how Sairi e-commerce can help people generate multiple streams of income.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy because you're not seeing me for the first time. I've been here before. I've got a lot of friends who are like, is this thing really real? Of course, the financial equations in my own part of the world has completely changed. Sairi gives you the opportunity to own shops online,
and make money.
And then they trade on your behalf. They sell for you. So that discomfort of going to convince someone to buy your product,
no selling required,
is no more there. They do it for you.
No referral.
And one thing I love so much about the system is the fact that it makes you your own boss. You're sleeping and you're making money. You wake up, you see money in your back office. It's as easy as that. And I want to tell every Nigerian that cares to listen, just as we enter this year, a particular bank, I don't want to mention the name, laid off over 2,000 workers. And that is just the beginning. More persons will go because robots are taking over the jobs of humans. And so the only thing you can do to beat them is to begin to take advantage of, the e-commerce platform at the e-space. If you're using a smartphone, for crying out loud, and you're telling me you don't have job, it simply means you don't know what you're doing. With a smartphone, you should be making smart money.
Yeah.
And we will give you that opportunity. Beyond salary, we'll mentor you how you can use your smartphone to start making smart money.
So people who might want to, like you're saying, that might want to, be part of this and try to get multiple streams of income. How do they get on? Is it like you have packages people can get on? Do they have packages? How can they be?
Yeah, we have different packages in Cyrus. So no matter how small your fund is, you can always take advantage of, starting somewhere. And the good thing is that you can even start without money. If you come tomorrow and Saturday, I'll teach you how to do that, because I have someone in my team who practically had nothing. But today she's enjoying the business because she was able to leverage on what I call her social capital. So I'll teach you how to do that too.
Okay, so Lucky, please, if you can help us out with the venue, time, and date for this particular business summit.
Thank you very much. This mega Port Harcourt Business Summit is coming up tomorrow, Friday, 24th January, and Saturday, 25th January 2020. And the time for the morning section is 11 a.m. in the morning through 12 p.m. That's the morning section. Then the afternoon section comes up by 1 p.m. and ends up at about 4 p.m.
Okay.
All right. Now, for those who want to be part of this mega business summit, to become their own boss, to have alternative sources of passive income, okay, they should text the word yes to the phone number 081 8068 9752. I take the word again. If you want to be part of this mega business summit, Port Harcourt 2020, please, for your reservation, send the word yes to 081 8068 9752. And the address is Suite 219, first floor, Eugene Shopping Plaza, number 14, Woji Road, Rumoba, Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Hope to see you there.
Again, Suite 219, first floor, Eugene Shopping Plaza, number 14, Woji Road, Rumoba, Port Harcourt. You already have the phone number. That's 0818 0689 Anybody can be a part of it.
Everyone.
Yes. This seminar is for everybody, for students, the employed, for the employed, for the unemployed, for the clergy, for the housewives, for the students. Business doesn't have to be difficult. All right. So Cyrimo has come up with this model that has simplified the way people do business and earn money.
So how much is the registration and what would the reservation cost?
Well, normally the cost of this very summit would have been 5,000 naira. But because we want to give back to the society, and we are also from the Niger Delta, so we want to give back to our people and want to be able to create an avenue for our people in the Niger Delta to be part of this, revolution. We want them to be part of this. So we are not, it's going to be FOC, free of charge. You understand? For this particular one, because this is the first event for the year 2020. So subsequent events might come with some fee before you can get access. But for tomorrow, it's free. And you have to make your reservation now. People are already making their reservation. Send yes, text yes to the phone number 081 8068 9752. I take that again. 081 8068 9752. It's going to be awesome.
All right.
I hope to see you there.
Anything else you want to say to Rivers people before we go?
I just want to say, Port Harcourt, I'm expecting you. I want to change the complaining spirit in this part of the world from complaining to being rewarded of effort, because no system pays you for complaining. The systems we live today only pay you for being action takers. Stop living someone's dream. Live your own dream, and Sari will give you that opportunity.
All right, just SMS the word yes to 0818-0689-752, 0818-0689-752 to book a seat for yourself. It's absolutely free, and it's happening at Suite 219, first floor, Eugene Shopping Plaza, number 14, Woji Road, Rumogba, Port Harcourt, tomorrow, is the time. 9 a.m. 11 a.m. rather is the time. So do well to be there and learn something for yourself. Thank you very much, Jerry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's good to be with you.
Still Today 95.1 FM. Stay tuned.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM. The station with a unique dial.
Live from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. This is Today 95.1 FM.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we are talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues
Dan
raised.
in Port Harcourt says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Today 95.1 FM, or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962.
Still your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM, here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. Femi Andrew is my name. 23 minutes past the hour of 10, and we have all of our guests still here. President Obaka Dokubo, Dr. Emmanuel Leroy-Yenama, and Dr. Emmanuel Wona hopefully will be with us as we progress on the show. Mr. Emmanuel Ndukwe is also here with us, and we'll be hearing from him now because before we went on that short break, we were looking at the comment from the governor of Benue State saying that the leaders in the country have failed. And turning to God now was his solution to help them and help them do the right things and asking for prayers. So we go to Mr. Emmanuel now. What's your view?
I think there's not much to say about this autumn's comment because not long ago even, Professor Wole Soyinka made the same statement. I think that he said his generation has failed in Nigeria. And Otom has always also stated a lot of things he believes or feel are maybe infractions against the people of Nigeria. I agree with him, Andrew, that the leadership has failed. You know, Dr. Renema is talking about followers as also contributors. I agree, because there's no time one person will be able to bear the complete responsibility of failure in an establishment. Because there must be collaborators. It's just like they said the political leaders have done this, that they've looted. And who is heading them to loot that thing? Or ministers are looting in ministries. Who headed them? Are they in possession of money? So that is the way it goes. But I am telling you, the blame for Emmanuel Ndukwe is 95 to 5. Leaders, see, you see when elections come, people file out. Now elect whoever. Yes, they've played their part. I'm talking about followers here. Now they've handed over the reins of power and said, you see, if anything goes wrong, in fact, we are giving you more power. Chastise us in any form. You are the one we are looking for. In everything, drive us, just like a driver and passengers in a car. It is in the hands of the driver. If he crashes, perhaps others will die alongside with him or get injured. That's the same thing, the same situation with leadership. And in this country, I think any nation has a collective aspiration. I've not seen this country as having achieved ours. And I don't know if there's been any time that such aspirations will eventually be achieved. I don't know. I'm not seeing it, but maybe it may change tomorrow. So Autumn is right. But one thing is that I'm only happy whether he added himself or not. He is one of them. That is the issue. But turning to God always, the big question I will ask is that, is it God that made it the problem to come up? Or do we always think that God is a magician? It's just like some people, a man died the other day, he got sick, very sickly, they now took him to a prayer house. Instead of going to hospital, they pray, the man died. So I think they've seen what the prayer can do now. I think if you are talking about God, you are just wasting your time. Amend your ways. If leaders know that they have brought the problem, they failed, let them look at what had gone wrong. And the problem I have in this country is that it looks as if the leaders, once maybe you've been doing well in terms of not standing in the way of evil, as soon as you get into governance in this country, you just, maybe the bandwagon mentality, you join them. So for me, they failed, and also followers, no doubt, because when there are certain questions, salient ones to ask, everybody will keep quiet. Maybe they've muzzled everybody. And are you arguing that if you
I think we talked about something similar yesterday.
Yes. I said in 2014, it baffled me in this country when polytechnic lecturers were talking about a raise of their salary. That was just the problem. They said since government refused to listen to them, they will file out and protest. Peaceful protest. And they did. The police and all that, of course, it's expected that powers that be are giving them authority, went after them with water cannon and all the rest of them. Now, if people, lecturers, will go through such, do you think they will ever open their mouth again? They say, nothing happened though, so let us stay at home. If this country will crash, let it crash. And I think the fear has brought about the docility, perhaps, on the
side of the followers.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that he pointed out was security, and that has also resulted to the Southwest region wanting to come together and create the Moteco security outfit. Recently, the PDP have also come out to make comments on that particular issue, and they say that Moteco is a vote of no confidence on Buhari and the presidency. That the PDP, the National Working Committee of the party, said the emergence of the Southwest security outfit and other security apparatus are indications of a vote of no confidence on the ability of the president to secure Nigerians and their property. The party also noted that the failure to take decisive steps to stem I quote, the escalated wave of killings by insurgents, the refusal to reject the security high command, and the lack of commitment to track down and prosecute even confessed perpetrators of mindless killings are all pointers that the Buhari-led administration cannot guarantee the security of lives and property in the nation. The statement was by the spokesman of the PDP, Kola Olubodinyo, after they had their NWC meeting. The party said, and I quote, the failure of the federal government to prosecute the war against acts of terrorism beyond lip service and condolence statements is emboldening killings, which have now degenerated to execution of compatriots, the latest being the gruesome beheading of the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in Adamawa, Reverend Lawan Andimi. The execution of Andimi is disheartening, is heart-rending, and like other killings, remains a sad commentary of the inability of a government to stand for its citizens at very crucial moments. So, in their own comment, the insecurity has forced people to perhaps governments and followers to resort to self-help. We also were talking about this morning what Arewa was saying. Arewa also said that the North, if the youth wing of the Arewa said if the North is smart, they should also begin to look at creating their own regional security outfit to help their situation, because as it stands, only you can help yourself. He said the words were, it is only somebody that is, it's only when there is life that there will be governance. That's what he said. So looking at this, Obaka Tokobo, let us start with you once again. The PDP's comment, if we want to come first from the angle of political parties, the PDP making this comment made it look like it was wrong, or because people are trying to create vigilante groups and the rest of them would be something that is wrong or bad or makes the government look bad. But then when the PDP was in its own time in power, we also had people who had different vigilante groups at different times, because we also had insecurity at different times. And those vigilante groups were a way the people felt they could help themselves solve their problem. And you can only say we're having similar thing happen now. So why the criticism in the manner that it's coming, as though the party itself, when it had its own candidate in position, did the better than whatever we're seeing now? That's on one part. And on the other hand, which would be from the ideal perspective, would you say that, of course, the insecurities is responsible for different regions and individuals trying to do what they can to protect themselves? Remember, T.Y. Danjuma one time came out and said that Nigerians shouldn't trust even the military, because if they know certain things, everybody would decide to find security for himself. So are they right from that perspective with their comment? Obaka Dokubo.
See, self-preservation is the first. I mean, whatever you are doing, first and foremost, when your life is guaranteed, that's when you begin to talk about anything else. The moment anything threatens that, then that takes priority over anything else. Because whatever you want to become and whatever you want to do, you will have to be living first. So it is not out of place that people are taking onto are taking the issue of security the way they are taking it. PDP, yes, was in power. There is no time in our history or in any history or in the history of any country at all where you say, oh, there's absolute security, there are no issues within, and everybody lives in total safety. We will wait for heaven to come, and then we'll have that kind of... We're only talking about in terms of degree. And so at every point in time, when we continue to make it look political, for me, it's we can move away from politics. Now, it's not a matter of APC, PDP. The people that are dying, some of them may also be APC members, maybe PDP members. It's security.
They may not even belong to any party.
We don't have to politicize security. But every government of the day, it's governance. So for me, it is a governance thing. It is not a political thing. When you go and take the oath of office. You take the oath of office on behalf of everybody to protect all lives and property of all Nigerians. That's the oath of office you took. So, to come to make it look like is this party or that party, for me, it's we will be missing the point. Now, the moment you throw in politics, you are not likely going to solve the problem. The moment you begin to throw in politics into issues of security, then we are doomed. So for me, and that is why you will see a situation where the Southwest governors, how many of them? 5 of them are APC. But they're not looking at politics now. They're looking at stopping the killing of their people.
There's also, I was having this conversation with some people, and I was looking critically at the development. If you look at this critically, it all started with the level of insecurity that started in that region, and then there were cries that came out from leaders of that region about the federal government paying attention to what's happening, and then they were getting invaded by too many herders in the region, and the crime that the herders were perpetrating, and then the kidnappings that were happening until we had the Afenifere's daughter. I think that was the one that really shook everybody and then caused people to begin to rally around. Now, isn't the fear or the concern about this outfit? Yes, there are insecurity issues, but the manner in which it's been formed, isn't it then looking like more like a certain region or a certain segment of the country trying to protect itself, not just against insecurity, but also to establish some sort of like its own
militia?
Not militia. Establish its own or protect its own. It's not looking more like a tribal thing. Like, I am people from the West, like a Yoruba thing. This is a Yoruba thing against some perceived, intruders who perhaps are trying to suppress our region or suppress our people or establish themselves in our domain. Perhaps that is an idea. Isn't that why perhaps many are looking at this and saying, the government in this case is saying, no, this can't happen?
See,
isn't there any ethnic sentiment to the establishment of that security outfit?
And that's actually the fear, and I think it is from that background, and probably every other group that is talking against it is talking the way they are doing. This is not the first vigilante group. Lagos has their neighborhood watch. It's been working there for so long. But I think it is the size of it.
So is underground, is it because if put it in perspective, if already they had Lagos, for instance, had vigilante group, nothing would have stopped Oyo State or Osun State or any of the other states to have their own vigilante group. Perhaps have your own Amotekun in your state and not decide to say it's regional. All right, in your state. So is it that they are fighting something else that we are not aware of in public domain that hasn't been outrightly stated in public? Is it that it's beyond just insecurity, but there is perhaps a plot to fight something else that might look like an invasion in their perhaps from where they are coming from, as against the insecurity, which is just on the surface of all of this? If we are to go by the trends that has followed the cries that came out from that region over the years.
See, these are a group of people with common ancestry, with common descent. They have everything in common, and they still feel this. They are a nation. When you talk about Yoruba nation, they're a nation, and so for them, probably what affects one, it essentially affects the other. And when they started getting this attack from outside, well, wherever it came from, the moment it happens to anybody amongst those 6 states, it happens for them. It happens to a Yoruba man, and so probably that's the feeling, and probably that's why in the South we'll probably find it a little bit more difficult to get this regional kind of thing, maybe. But see, bottom line for me, is that federal government has failed in its duty to protect lives and property of Nigerians. And the people themselves won't sit back. The question you want to ask yourself is, this didn't just happen. Things started happening. People started dying. The federal government that has the responsibility of this so-called security and defense and everything, what did the federal government do? What steps were taken to forestall further happening? How did they even confront that situation? How many of these invaders were actually arrested? They had sophisticated arms and they were killing people at will, raping people in their own farms, people becoming insecure in their own environment. And then somebody is saddled with the responsibility of protecting this, and then at that point, this person is not there. So would you rather that the people fold their arms and allow people to come and just overrun them and completely take them away? They have a response. And that it didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen the day before. This has happened for a number of, for some time now. And it doesn't appear as if the federal government has taken it so seriously. The truth of the matter is that when you talk about every other time you hear that, you also view it side by side. What is even the capacity of the federal government to even handle this situation?
I was coming to that, owing to the fact that we've had the IGP summoned by the Senate a couple of times, and we've heard him complain about 3 things: no manpower, no equipment, and no funding.
It's just not there. So, and every day you hear of, we will do state police, or we will not do. No action is taken. The federal government is not taking any action. It's not moving anywhere.
I'm not saying no action at all might be inappropriate. If you say they have been taking same action over and over again, we'll understand, because we know that we've had different special operations that have been instituted to tackle some of these problems in regions where they happen. World Stroke, Cat Smile, Crocodile Smile, a Python dance, and the rest of these things.
Security. We're talking about security. You're talking about fighting.
No, I'm just trying to tell you that if you said that
I'm talking about securing,
you would say
people.
that if you said they don't, that's part of trying to secure or fight crime in the way that you can.
An incident happens and you go and fight.
Perhaps you're not comfortable with how they handle it.
We're talking about people living within a place where
you're
they
saying
feel
the
safe.
security system or architecture of the country has not been addressed, and that's what you're saying, that the government hasn't addressed the security architecture of the country. Perhaps that's the point.
Andy, one thing that I do know, and that is very clear, is that the people, wherever they find themselves, had to do this because of, they didn't just out of pleasure start to do it. Things started happening.
Something led to this.
They couldn't, there was no way. They were just between the devil and they had to look for a way to ensure that they protect themselves.
Okay.
And for me, that's where I very much agree with. I'm very much at home with the statement of Bola Tinubu. I think for once he rose up to be a statesman. Please, let us look at the issues. Let us look at the issues, and if possible, let us begin to dialogue on the issues. Because you cannot wish what has happened away. You can't just say, "Oh, it shouldn't happen." There's something that has given rise to it, and you will need to address it.
Okay.
And if you think something is also going wrong, please let us now holistically look at everything. What is going wrong and what we have to fight it, and what are you doing? What are we not doing? What do we do? How do we help you? For me, all that has happened about Amotekun is about helping the federal government ensure security of lives and property in Nigeria.
All right.
The earlier we look at it from that perspective, the better for everybody.
All right, Dr. Egradi Nama, let's hear from you now. First of all, the two stands, I put it, the PDP's own assertion, and then from the angle of really is the cause for this, the collapse of security in the country, or failure of government to provide adequate security in the country.
I tend not to respond to PDP. There's only a blind man in this country that does not know that PDP is the father of insecurity in Nigeria. I'm a Rivers person, I'm a Niger Delta, and I knew how PDP governors at the time created for us the kind of insecurity that we saw within. I also do remember very clearly that the then National Security Advisor Azazi telling us that Boko Haram itself was a creation of PDP. That's the National Security Advisor of a government he was in, as it were. So, but generally, whether we are talking about man itself is insecurity. Escalations as we find today are a product of failure of all the tiers of government, local, state, and federal. Each of them have been, every year they allocate, every month they allocate several money they call security money. And I don't know where they got the protection for where they said security monies are not supposed to be probed, as it were. So that's the freest money to eat. Amotekun as it is, yes, on face value, and I use the word face value because we have the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch. And I doubt that any day has passed in Lagos that we don't hear of one crime or the other. I have not seen any significant success of that itself.
Well, the police in the country doesn't mean we don't have crime, or the army doesn't mean Boko Haram doesn't
and that's
destroy.
What we keep telling
but we're looking at the ratio.
I'm also telling you that.
But you would agree that, for instance, you would agree, let's use Rivers State for a typical example.
Yes.
You would agree that since we had the local vigilante group, there's been some reduction in the level of crime.
It has not done anything. I will tell you, if you want to know what happened, we'll tell you what has happened. It's a very simple thing.
So are you saying that in Lagos State,
hold on, so that when we Rivers State, we should analyze it properly.
In Rivers State and Lagos State,
we'll tell you what has happened. Nothing else has happened. It's a very simple thing. Why you make the same person that do those activities slightly comfortable, they keep quiet. Wait until they are stoked and see whether anything has happened. The young men that were carrying arms, who brought the arms for them? Because in this state, we found where state governors themselves and their agents were busy carrying arms for people. What the heck are we talking about? Let's be honest and clear to ourselves. OSPAP that you see now that is fighting and that some other groups are fighting up and down, what are they doing? What was it for? And how did it come? It came with a face that we thought would work, only for you to know, before you know what was happening, they infiltrated it and they started doing the kind of things they are doing. It's just like doing what they started with. Now, let's get back. Amotekun, I am one person that have said severally that nobody can secure you more than you can secure yourself, whether you like it or not. So let's not even pretend about it. We have failed as a people to put the right things. We saw how this insecurity grew. We were there. We felt unconcerned. The thieves and criminals, whether it is Boko Haram, it is in Niger Delta, it's in the east, it's in the west, they don't come from heaven. They are people from within us. Hear the story of the billionaire that was butchered for no reason that they called for to come and pick land. Who are the people that did it? You can imagine that the names of persons they arrested are showing Hausa or Yoruba. You will see what the kind of the interpretation of what you will have seen. But now all the names they've mentioned are Easterners. And I'm sure nobody's talking because they are finding that kind of names. You won't get to discuss the ethnic or religious dimension to it. That's a gentleman who had worked all these years. But it's criminality, whether it's North, East, or West, whether it's Christian or Muslim. It's criminality. The fundamental is not the ordinary creation of an Amotekun. The fundamental is not the ordinary creation of increase in the police force or the army or whatever. We must get down to what is causing this insecurity. They say the idle mind is the devil's workshop. To what extent are youth idle today? It's increased. Meanwhile, their test is in heaven. The man is doing nothing. He wants to pick a 450,000 naira phone. That's what he wants to use. It's a problem. We must address those issues and stop these funny ways of deceiving ourselves. With the how many thousand motorcycle vehicles I saw them buying there, it won't stop anything. I can challenge anybody. It won't stop anything. If it does at all, it will be very temporary. Today in Niger Delta, they brought security persons to come and help us stop oil bug. Has it stopped? In fact, it has only reached the number of persons they have brought to do that job. Our soldiers are there standing every day to take money. In fact, they're even begging boys when they don't come. So why people not coming? Because they know how much they're giving to them. They pay money to be posted to the Niger Delta. The highest you find, it will stop as you bring a new bike, it will stop for 2 weeks. As soon as those ones know the people that are coming and they settle themselves, that's all. It will go back to square one. So why are we listening to ourselves? We must get to the fundamentals if we want to discuss security issues in this country. Why are people involved in criminal activities? It's paying off. Arrest criminals and find who bails them. If it's not a governor that will go and give them, release them on one ground or the other because he has a constitutional power to do so, and they will come back to society to commit more heinous crime, it will be one politician that will stay somewhere and then write a note to say, that one our boy, release him. And they release the person. So what the heck are we talking? A motekun or any vigilante on the face value will not resolve and cannot help us in any way. We must address the fundamental reason for which crime has found favor among us. And majorly is the fact that many persons are idle. We must reorientate people to get to being productive and be content with what they have. Our churches are bastards ordinarily. Every day what you preach in the church and in the mosque is nothing but how people will get to rich overnight. A society clap hand for criminals just because they can show cash. Our values have gone to zero. We must address these fundamental issues if we need to stop crime and have a more secure environment. Otherwise, we'll get worse. Whether I'm Motekun or Neighborhood Watch or whatever name we want to call it. For me, another opportunity for people to steal money in the name of security funding.
Okay. Mr. Malolundukwe, let's hear your view.
Well, the BDP said Amoteku is a failure of the presidency. Well, APC as a political party is in power, and you can't leave them and go to another party to blame. Much as when the PDP was in power, and they were also receiving the blames of insecurity that existed then. So, like I said earlier on, for me it's just like kettle standing up to tell pot, you are black. While both of them go through the through the fire, of course, stoked by with firewood, not with gas. So both of them must be black. So I do not want to look at the political angle, but I want to say that what they said is true. Because it's failure of government, not necessarily the government at that particular point in time. Successive government we've been having them, and of course there's been insecurity in the country. You now tell me they've increased. I will tell you that if you have a child this year, by 2 years, that child would have gone to 3 years. And so he's growing. Because you've not been able to nip the problem in the bud, like Dr. Renema is saying, it will keep on escalating any year. So I agree totally with the PDP that is failure of the presidency, as they are putting it, because like I said, it is the presidency that is the head of government that is supposed to coordinate everything and provide security of life and property for Nigerians. And when that seems not to be going the way it should, who else do you blame? It brings in back the issue of leadership we are talking about. So for me, it is true. But the Amoteku angle, I thought, would have helped governments, the security apparatus of government would have been assisted with this particular kind of outfit. But since government says it's illegal, it will remain illegal in the eyes of government. The problem I'm having is that those who have organized this are saying it must come, it must be there. But like I said, the comment of the Attorney General of the Federation pulls a nail that may not make it work. because he is the Attorney General. And the comments from his office is viewed very seriously. As it stands now, the governors of the Southwest cannot come and flow that outfit, and then it will be moving. But one problem I always do, is when this kind of issues happen, why not go to the best place, the best quarter to iron it out? Whether you win or you lose, the court, I see, is the best place to pronounce that illegality. If Malami gives that as his opinion, it is either himself approaches the court or the Moteku people, the coordinators, do so. But what I know is that Moteku is not for defense of the nation, rather for security, the local security of their area. And in my view, I'm not a lawyer, I do not see it as an aberration. I don't. Because I listened to Alfred Balola, was it on Sunday or Saturday? He said that Malami, his colleague, also did not read the certain provisions he made. He pronounced them. That particular place, those particular provisions vested the power of providing security on the governors for their people. And if such a place exists, will it be on that side that Malami read alone that will be taken? This is the highest working document, as it were, of the nation, the Constitution. So if he says one thing on this side and says another on that side, so how will it be harmonized? Why not approach the court? So that people like us who don't know much about this law will say, well, the court has given a verdict, perhaps the Supreme Court, and it is sealed. Nobody, even though you may not be, you may not accept whatever verdict, but that's the end. So for me, all these things, issue of no, it has come to stay. It hasn't. It's illegal. It's not helping Nigeria.
Okay. All right, we'll go to our phone lines and get your views. I would also encourage that you send in your text messages at 0701-933-9962 or a WhatsApp message to the same number. So call us up on 0817 0000951, 0817 0000951 or 0810951091. We looked at two major issues on this half of the show. The statement from Autumn saying that leaders have failed, and the PDP saying that the creation of Amoteco simply shows the inability of the government to provide security. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
You're welcome. Your name? Okay, go ahead.
Let me say that the Benedict government statement is indictment to himself and his government as well, and even the leadership. I think the followers should not be involved in this issue. I am saying so. What are the institutions? What are the constitution? When the constitution was written, the followers were they involved in the constitution? They make laws that prevent the followers of protest. They make laws. They cannot protest. Cannot agitate for the right of the citizens. I know what we are passing through. Even to make sure that people are being released in the custody, you must pay money for this, and the bail is free. How will we change the narrative? If the governors, or if the governors or the rulers are willing to change the constitution, will you force them? Will you not have opportunity to protest or to be against them? So I think it's only the leadership should be blamed. Nobody should ever involve the followership. Even in the election reform that was written, how far they implemented it? Will you force them to implement it? Can you go to the market and protest or to the school and stop going to school without who are arresting you or detain you or kill you, getting one for their life? So it is the leadership. Even the leadership will take laws and say that, okay, let us change the system, then Nigeria will benefit it. But for now, even to elect the good leaders, you cannot even find anybody that you can elect because you will go for voting is not good. Somebody must elect the winner. So what would you do in that kind of scenario? Not the scholarship issue, the leadership. Therefore, the PDP statement is a slap to Nigerians.
All right, thank you.
What are the security
all right, you made your point. PDP's comment, a slap on Nigerians. Thank you very much. You already made your point. We have to let you go. at that point so we can take other calls. I'll also take some text messages shortly. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning to you. Your name, please, and where you're calling us from.
Good morning, Andrew.
Lawson, welcome.
I'm calling from Yenagua. I greet your guests.
Good day.
Robert Clark, he was speaking on TDC News, I think this week. Was it Tuesday? You understand? And he said that it is not a matter of going to court, according to him, there is nothing to even go to court with. You understand? That they should go back, all the governors of the Southwest should go back, lick their wounds, and then go approach their various houses of assemblies, and then come up with a legislation, come up with a law. You see, right now, people just say, go to court. It is not illegal. It is this. Can anybody tell me, is there any law backing Amotekun? Is there any law? How can you see in Biafra here? People don't just talk. Biafra here, we have Biafra volunteer. We have Famkangbe Andrew, earlier. Right now, even under Dixon, we have Operation Draco. It's existing. Federal government has not complained. Because people must know your operations. And from what there is no law, but from what what's his name, Ondo State Governor, the chairman is saying, is when you look at the functions he listed out, they are pure police functions. Nigeria can only have one police. You cannot just come. Lagos State has neighborhood watch. Why is federal government not against it? Law has to be clear. Go back, let us look at the law and then look, because there are a certain level of operation it can go to, but if you go, because we don't right now, we don't even know what they want to do. There is nothing showing what Amotekun is all about. They just say security outfit and then regional. You don't know whether maybe it's something set up probably to come against federal government. Nobody knows.
I think they also stated that they were to carry out jobs of to function in the capacity of local vigilante groups in cases where they support the police activity.
And in liaison with the police.
And the police were also in the know, because I remember they were threatening to even arrest them if they said they were seen to carry arms that were beyond the
they should have the ones without cartridges.
Andrew, if you listen to him very well, it's a very clear thing he has posited. And we need to
on the part of the law, we understand if you put that.
There are things we need to understand.
Lawson, thank you very much. Let's allow him. Lawson.
No, I'm not finished.
Okay, finish, please.
Yes, briefly, see, when you want to come up with, you understand, look at when the River State Governor wanted a neighborhood watch. Where did he go to? He approached the River State House of Assembly.
Did he work?
Yes. He did approach. You understand?
Did the federal government allow him?
You said?
Did the federal government allow him?
Because in that law, it was provided that they would carry arms. That's why government now come against it. So there has to be a law. So when you want to argue, is there any?
All right, Lawson, you made your point. Thank you. No law. Thank you.
It's not just the fact that there is no law. Perhaps what he should have told us, again, he said it's part of the thing, is that come out open. Let's understand what you want. The police in virtually all the places, as far as I'm concerned, work with civilians in one form or the other. And I did tell you here, for instance, the JTF in Port Harcourt has a civilian JTF. Go and ask everybody. They have the group that gives them information. The police, from time immemorial, have who they call the informants. They are civilians. They have them in teams. Each group meets. But now, you are taking a dimension. Part of the things we need to look at, and that's why I have said all these, for me, it's shenanigans, if you like, because if you call them local vigilante, call them Amotekun or whatever. What do they want to drive? Who is driving them? These vehicles you have bought in your different states. You bought fine, beautiful vehicles, beautiful whatever you have done in your different states. Talk with your commissioner of police. Credit them into the Nigerian police force. And see if they don't use them at different places. We know who the average Nigerian politician is. And there's a political connotation to all of this trash.
But Doc,
let's be honest to ourselves.
Doc, let's ask this question.
Yes.
Now the vehicles, whatever, the ones they had even before the formation of Amotekun.
Yes.
Now the police have been in the know, and then were given to them, like some of them in Rivers State. Now that those killings were there on the highway everywhere, and it looks as at that time they were targeting the Southwesterners. That is the truth.
That's not the truth.
Is
They are killing.
Gentlemen, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go back. We'll come back and settle this. We'll come back and settle. Hello, good morning. Today 95.1 FM.
Yeah, this is Pastor Azara George.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All your guests highly respected this morning. Yes, I want to look at Amoteku, and I really want to give my line put my line in the line of one of your guests. Unfortunately, I didn't really catch the name, but I want you to know that all he's saying there is the actual truth. My brother, Amoteku, who are those who are the rationals behind it? If you are telling me that the state government are the ones, the state governments are governors who actually emanated from political parties, it means that Amoteku is now an arm of political affiliation where they will be taking commands and control.
So which political affiliation would it be? Because we have both parties involved. Governors of both political parties involved.
Both of them. And now it will be that.
So you are saying, okay, in that case, both the APC and PDP will be using their Amoteku.
It's not the political parties, it's the persons, the individuals.
They belong to political parties.
Yes, but the individuals have the agenda.
If we are taking shots at that, for instance, I've heard you here many times say the PDP were in power. You did not call the person that was in power.
Listen, it's individuals. And you know, I like mentioning names. You push me, I'll mention
we'll come to you. Go ahead, Pastor Isaiah.
Yeah, listen. Now, what we are saying is, it means that when some person begin to speculate that this is a political arrangement ahead of 2023, it means that when 2023 comes, then when they might have gained more ground, know the nooks and crannies and the secret and everything.
So then you're saying the APC and the PDP will now use Amoteku to fight who to collect power from them?
To know the nooks.
Who would they be collecting power from when the APC and the PDP use Amoteku?
My brother, that will also come up. Now, also remember the angle where the leader of IPOP is saying that to offer 1 million man to them. That alone is one big question that Nigeria needs to question. Know the another kind of rationale, because that man is a leader of a proscribed group and is the one saying such things. You understand? These are the things that we are saying. Now, we want to someone to
all right, you made your point already, Pastor Zaya. We have to let you go and take another call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, brother.
You're welcome. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
I'm Noble, calling from against.
All right, Noble, go ahead.
The doctor there, I'm sorry, does it mean that herdsmen that belong to party, do they belong to any party? Are they killing the partisan opposition?
I don't get your question. Ask the question properly.
What's the question?
Because it now means that the security people is because of the politics. Maybe they are going to support the other politics. Are these enemy of Nigerians? Are they killing? Is it by partisan?
The killings in the Niger Delta. The killings in the Niger Delta. Hold on. The killings in the Niger Delta, are they created by herdsmen? Are there no killings?
That is why
the billionaire that had just been murdered recently. The billionaire from Anambra that had just been murdered. Is it herdsmen that killed him?
I'm from Anambra State.
I'm from you, the billionaire. That just the Anambra man that just murdered.
In my state, we have security.
You've not answered the question because you mentioned something and that's why
let's listen to him. Let's listen to him. Go ahead.
In my state, Anambra State, we have vigilante. In my town, Agolo, we have vigilante. They are moving with guns. They have stopped me the last time I traveled to December because I came back late. They have stopped me, asked me questions. First talking to my eye, they asked me questions. I mentioned my name, mentioned my village, where I'm going to. They allow me to go. Are you telling me that those guys, that all these killings in the southwest, is it by partisan?
Has that eliminated criminality in Anambra, in Agula?
Thank you. Thank you very much. You made your point. But the idea wouldn't be to eliminate criminality.
So what does that do to reduce?
The idea is to reduce it.
I don't know why. See, Doctor was talking about police give this into the police, And you are talking about a police force that you completely have no control over. Here in River State, it happened. And Amechi sent some people, policemen, still looking for how to secure ourselves. What happened? They came back, and in a few weeks or months, they were all taken away. What have you done? That's the state money. You invested it. And the people, because they are not yours. You're looking for an indigenous, something homegrown system that will take care of these issues. And it is not, we're not looking for a time, or we can't get to a time where there will be no criminality. We're not talking about that level of criminality. Police is there, regular police. Nobody has taken police functions. For me, I'm not going in principle, does not take away any police function. In fact, there is no way they are not a parallel police force. They can't. They are not. So if we beyond that, we have an issue, you have a problem. Okay, if you say this is not, what is your own solution to the problem? If you are not proffering any solution, and then somebody is trying to do something, and you say no, then what happens? Are you then leaving the people to just be killed like chicken every other day?
Okay, let's get one thing straight. No, let's get one thing clearly straight, and that thing we want straight is the fact that as of today, as a country, we have a ground norm which has spelled out the different rule of the different tiers of government. And that's what you hear from Malami directly. And I challenge the Southeast itself is properly represented in the National Assembly. If you want to tinker, because what we're looking at is actually tinkering. And look, for us, the current security architecture of the country is nothing to write home about. We have debased it. That's true. Anywhere you go. And in attempting to correct it, I'm saying, is this the best way to correct it haphazardly? Let the Southeastern members of the National Assembly sponsor a bill to correcting that architecture in the National Assembly. And then get that sorted out to say we want to share power of security, for instance, of defense, for instance, with the tiers of government. Then you're working. Don't deceive yourself. Don't come and tell me that you're doing what you're telling me.
Let's go back. Let's go back.
For yourselves.
Let's go back to the phone lines now. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Hello?
Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Yes, my name is Sodina, calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, go ahead.
Please, let's forget about the grammar we are speaking there. It's not a matter of speaking grammar. Fulani herdsmen is killing people. Boko Haram is killing people. The president will say, you condemn that, you condemn this, you condemn that.
Let him finish. Go ahead.
After condemning, nothing will come out. There will be no investigation. The people that kill people, nobody will arrest them. So if Omoteku is coming, let them come out and defend their place. They are defending their people. They are defending Sokoto. They are defending Abia. They are defending their own people. So anybody who is against Omoteku, that person is not a good person. You don't have to be against Omoteku. Omoteku is defending their people. So recruit your people and let them secure you. That is that.
All right, thank you. It's Amoteku, by the way. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. All right, sadly, we lost that call. Let's check out SMS portal and take some of the text messages. We're all clapping for Amoteku now because because it is for the West. I hope it will receive the same support by the time the Southeast floats its own. Daniel. So says, Andrew, this Amoteku thing is the harbinger of true federalism and restructuring, which some people don't like. Bottom line, the restructuring that some people don't like has come naturally. Barry in Ogoni land. Please, we will be, or who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Amoteku Regional Police? Good morning, presenters. On this Amoteku issue, what Nigeria do not know is that the federal government headed by Buhari is doing everything possible to see that the implementation of Ruga is not hindered when it comes up again, which will surely come up again as their cardinal objective. But as long as the entire South stands together against this bad policy, it will not work. Tony from Port Harcourt. Ruga just came in out of nowhere now into this conversation. In fact, this country appears to be like an adage in my village which says blind are leading the entire society and everybody's following sheepishly. Even the societal elites and technocrats bowing down before them, defending all the blind's negative actions. I whip for the country Udo sent in this one. The Western region would feel crisis in the country given the breakdown of law and order in the Western region that prompted the January 15, 1966 coup that abruptly ended the First Republic. Are the Yorubas more hit than the Northeast by the insurgency? Friday, Olu from Choba. Greetings. If Christians die in the North, is our brother. When they get appointment, is no more our brother, is an Hausa man. We should be serious for once. Okay. Can't remember where that one. I don't know how that one got here. Good morning to all there in the studio. Andrew and Imad, the statement of the governor of Benue State is true and should be carefully taken seriously. All the governors, ministers, assembly members at all levels, even the president of our nation, must take this word of the governor seriously. My comment on this statement is that our leaders in Nigeria have their Lord different from the true divine Lord of good leadership. As long as our leaders are not lauded by the Lord of the true leader, which is God. Like, this is the right up is that they will remain bad leaders. Pastor B. Akie of Dominion by okay. Come on, Piers. No good Christian says no good Christian that will sell his soul to support Amotekun. I'm Solomon from Ogbogoro, Port Harcourt. Okay. Christian now. But if the forming of Amotekun is not illegal, why are we wasting our time and resources with constitutional amendment as regards the state police? Dave sent in that one. Back to our phone lines. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Hello. Hello.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. John.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yes, I love the discussion that is ongoing.
Oh, sorry, John. You can call us back. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Good morning. This is DK.
You're welcome, DK. Go ahead.
My greetings also to your guests in the studio.
Good day.
You see, talking about Omotekun, I'm totally in agreement with Dr. Emmanuel Iruwona that to find any meaningful solution to a problem, you have to tackle it from the source. What is the cause of increased insecurity in this country? Nobody wants to talk about that one. Andrew, if you go to hospital to see a doctor, there are two important questions he will ask you, among many others. How do you feel to know the nature of the problem? When did you start feeling these things? And it is that second question that is very, very important to me for the analysis of this problem. When did we start experiencing increased insecurity in this country? Is it not from 1999 advent of democracy? Politicians are the cause of this insecurity. They turn around to form ethnic militia to cut it. That is one aspect. Secondly, of about 350,000 manpower of the police force, politicians have taken more than half of it for their own personal protection. They constitute less than 1% of the population of Nigerians. Yet they are taking a half of those security. And the cream of the Nigerian police force, the mobile police force, for their protection, leaving just a half for the remaining 99% of Nigerians. Who are the cause of insecurity in Nigeria? That is the question. You can never provide any meaningful solution without knowing the cause. From Niger Delta here that I know how militants started in this country. From political thuggery, then metamorphosed to militant. From there, we are having cultism and kidnapping and all sorts of things now. Nobody wants to talk about that. Why should we promote ethnic militia like Omotekun? And why is government so much particular against Omotekun when we have hundreds of different security outfits in this country? Nobody also wants to ask that question. The Omotekun is just a replacement of Odua People Congress. That is what it is. Odua People Congress, they are replacing it. It's ethnic militia.
Okay.
And it could be used in time of religious and ethnic conflict.
All right.
If you are allowed it, Fulani will form their own.
Thank you very much.
The Easterners will form their own.
Thank you. You made your point. Time is exhausted. We'll have to allow you go. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Gift. Welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ogaima. Good morning, and good morning to all the guests.
Good morning, Gift.
Ogaima, thank you for trying to clear the air. I don't even know where to start from, but I would disagree with Doc in total. Frankly speaking, I don't know where to even start from. At times, we'll be talking about the governor of Rivers State is not doing well. The same federal government that are stopping the people from the southwest, that security is under their watch. These same people plus doctor will tell you that Wike has failed in terms of securing lives and property in River State. But today, the federal government is telling everybody who cares to listen that security is their birthright. So from today, please, doctor and every other supporter of doctor, don't call any of the governors in this country any longer. Federal government should take the responsibility, and if anybody from today that this is speaking lose his or her life or properties, everybody should hold federal government responsible. Thank you, and God bless all of us.
As long as your governor and the rest of them will also not take security votes.
Hello, today 95.1 FM.
Well, that's part of what they're using it.
No.
Hello, today 95.1 FM.
This is free.
Yes.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yes, Mr. Andrew. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, Ohale Johnson, evangelist, calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, go ahead, Johnson.
Thank you very much. Let me start by commending, in a serious term, all the Southwest governors that have put this together. I commend them in the highest term. You see, my people will say that if it has not touched your roof, people wouldn't know that those who are fallen is flesh and blood created by God. Human blood that nobody can be able to cause a breath of life in a human being or even cause a hair. But they are falling every day. Let me bring this again on board. That is an analysis that from 2015 to 2019, over 15,000 persons have been killed by Boko Haram and bandits in the northeast. And in this January alone, it is also there that about 1,000 persons have also gone underground by this same set of people. And people are crying to their leaders, and it looks as if they are not doing anything. Now they have been able to come together, of which I have been praying to God to touch the South governors and Southeast governors to do the same thing alike. My brothers and my sisters, may I inform you that these people have parents. Some of them have children. Some of them have wives. Some of the wives, they have husbands, and they have lost their husband, they have lost their children, and yet, but one of the leaders here, they have only an accident that will happen. We see how they will be running around, but people are dying in their numbers. What is these people? The Amotokun that have been said that is causing this thing. As long as I'm concerned, it is just a kind of telling the Southwest governor, calling their leaders, so let's come and bring people together who can be on guard. As a local vigilante has been, it is not today like one of the listeners said. They have been there from the onset. What they have been able to do, what is different there? Please, let's just come and get some people to be on ground, to be ready to tackle any eventuality. Okay. That is the simple thing they have done. What is the difference there?
Thank you very much. I enjoyed your time. We have to let you go. On our WhatsApp portal, this one is from Chief Loveday Okere. He says, I am fully in support of Amotekun if the intention is to curb insecurity issues in the West. After all, the civil defense we have today, carrying arms and securing our pipeline, started just like this. I think the high level of insecurities in Nigeria of today calls for the alternative security measures. Let's try the Amotekun and see how it works. Any other region in contention can think of theirs, just like the North Central has started. That's on our WhatsApp portal. Fine John says it's unfortunate that some persons keep dwelling in the past. What is the thing APC told Nigerians that they want to change? Is it not bad governance? How come that instead of Nigerians to condemn the ineptitude of the government, they keep referring to PDP? The candidate killed was what is Malami saying? How many Nigerians must die for security to wake up? This one says, this is bringing to your notice. Okay, I think we already have that covered. Okay. All right, and that's the much we can take from our WhatsApp portal. We can't take any more. We'll have to begin to wrap things up quickly. Let's take a few messages first. The Constitution, I want to believe, in all its position, cannot demand that you lock your house against invasion. I wonder why issues regarding people's security of lives always attract the Nigerian way. There was a New Year package by killers for the Nigerian people by God knows who. Even though we know who the traitors are, but we didn't see President take a bold step, as in the case of his meeting with the Southwest governors. Mietiala came as bold as threatening Tinubu's presidential ambition, which no group except them can do. The whole drama is laughable. Chinyere from Aba. Andrew, this so-called 1999 constitution is fraudulent, a lie, and the cause of Nigeria's underdevelopment. Bottom line, 1999 constitution should be thrown out and a people-friendly constitution be put in place to avoid a doomsday. Barry in Ogoniland sent in this one. Oh, we are all clapping for Amotekun now because it is for the West. Okay, I think we took this one before. The people talking a legal angle of the Amotekun are they more lawyers than Governor Akeredolu himself? The Western region always exhibit their sophistication in everything they do. Walter from River State in that one. And good morning to the FM. Desperate situation requires desperate reactions. The present security architecture in Nigeria is grossly ineffective. So individual, state, and regional efforts aimed at better security outlook must be encouraged, not to discourage with jaundiced perspectives. Brown from Port Harcourt. And that's the much we can take. We'll wrap things up now. Obaka Dakubo, let's hear from you, your final words.
Yeah, I very much agree that, since we have refused to, as a nation, officially sit down and look at our constitution and indeed talk about how to rearrange this federation, so-called, the entire confusion as to whether we're a federation or we're running a unitary system and all of that. These are the things that are now beginning to, things like this are what clearly telling us that we need to do that. But before we do that, we already have a situation at hand, and we cannot afford to wait until we now sit down as a nation and then put our things together before we can now talk. So for me, what is happening now, these are just measures to ensure that we safeguard our lives, while the need more than ever before probably for us to go back to that constitution and see and review it and restructure this country to the point that it should work effectively as a federation. I think we are really on that track now.
Okay.
And the earlier the government realizes this and comes up with something that will work in that direction, the better for this country.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Iwaye Nama.
Nobody solves any problem scratching the surface. We must get to the root of insecurity. The why question of insecurity must be answered. All these makeshift arrangements are another form of creation of another issues that will come up to all of us tomorrow.
Okay. And Mr. Emmanuel Ndukwe?
Well, I certainly believe that since leaders, one after the other, are accepting that they failed, it is also an opportunity for them to have a rethink and perhaps behave in a better way that will make them succeed.
All right, thank you very much. I will take this call quickly. Hello to the 95.1 FM.
Yeah, sure.
All right, you're welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, Carlo speaking from...
Kalu?
Yes, Carlo.
From where?
Up to Beche.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Andrew, you see, I don't know why Nigerians are so intelligent, but yet they cannot solve their problem. I don't know whether Nigeria can claim to be more intelligent than US as operating a federal system of government. Even each of their regions is more than our region's ethnic nationality here. And yet, they are operating a kind of constitution. Andrew, how do you come about this situation whereby a certain few people started doing coup upon coup, and at the end of the coup, they now forestall our original constitution and brought this nemesis you call constitution, 1999 constitution. And yet, no Nigeria is questioning it. If and when the matter comes up, we'll be talking grammar upon grammar. This Boko Haram that has never been defeated, is it not the same group, certain group in the north that said an attack against Boko Haram is attack against the north? When we are talking of Awoteku, do we remember Hisba police, which is a Shara police in Kano. Do you remember who is Malani? How far has Malani attacked the
Well, he's a law officer and he's by supported the law. Sharia is in the constitution. Sharia is in the constitution, so it becomes almost impossible to say anything.
It's a secular state.
You're coming from a moral standpoint. I will understand you from a moral standpoint, but then.
But I'm telling you now, you said it's backed by legality.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
No state can have any.
All right.
Religion.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. We have to let you go. Time is already up. That's the much we could take on the show. It's been Obaka Dokubo, former chairman, NUJ Rivers State, Dr. Emmanuel Irwayenama, chartered arbitrator, mediator, management consultant, and socio-economic commentator, and Dr. Emmanuel Wona, lecturer, Department of Political Science, who was with us earlier on the show. Mr. Emmanuel Ndukwe was also a guest with us on the show. And my name is Ifeemi Andrew. Thank you very much for your time. And stay tuned. Do not touch your dial, because Entertainment Today comes up shortly.
You've been listening to Today's Quest here on Today 95.1.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Join us next time, weekdays from 6 to 11 a.m. on Today 95.1.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
You got a fetish for my love. Been waiting for a lifetime for.
Listen to Entertainment Today
every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
And I'm so I don't even
every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
Only on Today 95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
You got a fetish for my love. Been waiting for a lifetime for.
Listen to Entertainment Today
every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
And I'm so I don't even
every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
Only on Today 95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
You got a fetish for my love. Been waiting for a lifetime for.
Listen to Entertainment Today
every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
And I'm so I don't even
every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
Only on Today 95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
My people have a say. The child that has said his father will not sleep shall also not sleep. M.I. Chocolate City. Let's go.
Yeah, see them, they wanna beef me. Now that they see BET on my CV, now that I be frequently on the TV, they wanna go there but can't afford the TP. My motto is do more, talk less. Never get mad at another man's success. So when people tryna make sure I chop less, I say no be your fault, you're just jobless. Nonsense, but do you, yeah, and keep missing, yeah, cool boo. But here's some advice, if you still wanna walk down the road and go hog transformer, go find a cliff, do a Jimmy Jet, jump off, marry your granny, have a son, you're a son of, go boil stone, it will cure your sickness, or maybe you should just focus on your business.
Man, could not come help me see, rich guy, strong head picking, but money in a job, fish in a job, goat in a job, they say you won't be. Man, could not come help me see,
say you won't be. See musicians trying to beef me for real, son. Maybe they doing it to promote the album. They know they using my name will help them sell some. So Iceberg is alright, you're welcome. But I'm not in the league, help me tell them. The Super Eagles don't play against the Falcons. See what war begin, they form handsome. Get let you cool clap for yourself. Well done. I'm a legend in the making, Malcolm. M.I.'s more connected than the telecom. Why you mad at my flow? You be tampon. You show me your act. Put your pants on, but in case you still want the risk, yo, please go bleach your hair, they form Cisco. Climb the bubble, begin to dance disco. Cause beefing Mr. Incredible, me not think so.
Which guy strong head picking me? But money no job, fish in no job, gut in no job. They say you won't be. They coulda come help me see. Which guy strong head picking me? But money no job, fish in no job, gut in no job.
She say you won't be. I said see people beefing cause them is living economically even. Look at them speaking, Facebook tweeting like we can do better whatever he can. Life isn't even, some years are leaping. Some people living at the top, some are deep in. Some people so broke, others wealth reaping. Me, I just keep being focused on achieving. Yes, nowadays I am eating, but you should learn how I got where I be in. How I would fry as I sat in the sun through the weekend, believing if I work hard then I can reach them. Yo, and these days I am seeing the sky's wide enough for all this free seating. Used to love beef, but it's healthier to be vegan. So no beef on my mind, or more heat.
They coulda come help me see. Which guy strong head picking me? But money no job, fish in no job, gut in no job. They say you won't be. They coulda come help me see. Which guy strong head picking me? But money no job, fish in no job, gut in no job. They say you won't be.
Now this song.
All right, you say you want beef, eh? You say you want beef, eh? But more you know chop, goat you know chop, fish you know chop. You say you want beef, eh? Am I a bagger right there, man? Short black dude. And that song titled Beef. That's a good one. MI2 was the album, though. I can never forget it. MI2 was the album. The title of the album actually got him to court, though, because we had one MI2 at the time who felt like, yo, you were using my name to name your album. That was even beef in its own self. Started that way. And yes, it's a Throwback Thursday. And because MI is in the picture, I decided to play that one. Beef is in the horizon right now. MI and Vector had issues, yeah? But it looks like Young Six. Young Six could be, putting out something, against, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say against. I just say saying some stuff that some people just might not, feel comfortable with. Is actually directed towards M.I. Abaga. All right. He posted his stuff on Twitter a while ago. And many have been commenting on it. It was about a song. He said it was a song that he did with M.I. And he posted that M.I. didn't in any way, try to promote the song. M.I. didn't even try to promote the songs. M.I. was in the song. He didn't post it. He didn't talk about it. But then he was in the song and he says, yo, chairman. He just went on to say, yo, chairman, man, respect all your old music, respect what you do. But then, it's true what they say. Your idols become your rivals. And that was the statement there. A lot of other things. Young Six is working really hard. He also has a song that might be dropping soon featuring The Game. There's one that should be dropping too, also featuring T.I. He's been working hard. And I've always said this, I love his album, Billionaire Ambition. It was a great body of work. I don't care what anybody wants to say about it. And the High Star album too is also a dope one. And many have come to say, I'm one of those people who believe we haven't really given Young Six the respect he deserves. We haven't really given him that respect. So I think people should begin to, when you're calling rappers in Nigeria, Young Six should be right there, Onome should be right there. That's his real name. Onome should be right there. Anyways, welcome, guys. I am the coolest kid on the radio, the guy you just have to love. You can call me Trace. and I'll be giving you all the inside scoop of what's happening in the world of entertainment. First off, I'd like to say a happy birthday to everybody who's celebrating their birthday today. Wherever you are, whoever you are, shout outs to you. And Tentation, XXX Tentation, would have been +1 today. You know, we lost the brother, right? He died June 18, 2018. If you remember, it was at the age 20 when he died. Did a song with Lil Wayne on Lil Wayne's Carter 5 album that I love. Don't cry. Great song, if you ask me. A couple of other joints that he actually, had before he passed on. I was beginning to take to the guy's kind of music because I kind of fancied it, and then, he passed on. Same with Juice WRLD. It's just so painful that these young guys who are so talented, do not tend to live up to the dreams that they had while they were alive. So yeah, if he was alive, he would have been +1 today. May you still rest in peace, by the way. But to all of you who are living and healthy and strong and doing what you're doing, well, we're happy for you guys, man. Keep pushing, keep doing what you do, and keep living life, but do not waste it. All right? Do not waste it. All ye Malians, there's one person, like the general came out to check on the troops, remember? Because Naira Marley came out to say, like, Malians, man, have fun, live your life, but don't waste your life. Don't waste it. And a student has been brutally beaten because he claimed to be a Malian. He put pictures are online with marks of, I felt like perhaps cane marks or belt marks. A secondary school student actually cried out on Instagram, said that they were brutalized by staff because they identified themselves as Malians. There's a video of Ashar in an interview that says she's a Malian. Yeah, she was in an interview and she said she's on one of the radio stations in Lagos and she said she was a Malian. So I'm beginning to think that the fact that a proper definition has not been given to the word Malians or that kind of, in quote, slogan, identity that people are beginning to give themselves is also a problem because now people act crazy, do crazy stuff. You do not inspire anybody in any positive manner, but then you say you're a Malian. I don't know if that's what it stands for. I don't know if Malian means be stupid, live carelessly, live life the way you like, do crazy things, do, anything you want, be free. I don't know if that's what Malian stand for, but that's what it looks like is happening. And this person on social media says, and I quote, "What we get for calling ourselves Malians. My school thinks Malian is a cult that do not wear belt and the girls do not wear bra and pants. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, please tag so this statement can be debunked." Now, Mali has to make a video to tell the world that he's a disciplined person so all this can be reduced. It becomes difficult for him to tell the world that because, the world will judge you. People will judge you based on your character. And that's the part in the world we don't understand that your character and integrity is what people would look at, and the way you portray yourself. Some of the things that you say, Naira Marley is educated. Don't get it wrong. He went to school. In fact, studied abroad. He studied abroad, but some of the things that he said, you would wonder, was he just saying it to get attention? Is this something he was saying for the entertainment purposes? A lot of things. I think if I were in school, especially when we also gave you reports about a school that a cult that was formed in a school, Malian, and some people got expelled. And the fact that this is, thriving so well in secondary schools should raise concerns amongst everybody, because that's how you begin to grow the next generation and the idea that you're giving them and what you're teaching them. And then they get into universities and then become something else and it becomes uncontrollable. These days, 15, 13, 16, all want to go to the club. I couldn't go to the club when I was 20. I haven't been to the club. Like, I was 21. I was 22. I was 23. I can't even talk about the club, right? There was a time where in the world, like, the basic things had to be the basic things. That's what you should know and do first. But we're living in a world now, we're at 16, at 15, 17. The club is where you want to be at every single time. You don't even realize that the club is certain kind of people should be at the club, and you should attain a certain kind of success in your life. And a certain kind of moral foundation should have been built inside of you before you begin to associate in that level, Sad thing. Sad thing. Anyways, DJ Copy. She just told us how much she wants to make this year. You know, she also came out and wanted people to give her give a name for a new album, and loads of people were trying to, to give the name. But now she came out and told us how much she's looking at making this year. And I'm like, man, what can't you say now? What can't you say? What can't you say? She said she would want to make $1 million. $1 million. She would endeavor to make $1 million. Her debut EP is almost ready and will be releasing soon. She says, I'm making $1 million this year by all means. That's where I'm worried, though. By all means, well, for you, by all means, I'm gonna leave it. By all means, everybody will be like, we know your father. Who's your father? Or $10? $1 million. So, but she's working hard. She's working hard. You could say that yes, the influence of her father and many other things would help, get her to that place. That would be true. That would be true. It'll be easier for her to get $1 million this year than it would be for perhaps DJ Lambo or a couple of other DJs here in Port Harcourt. DJ Unique, one DJ I love a lot. All right. A lot of other DJs. It would be more difficult because, you don't have the environment, you don't have the contact, you don't have to connect. You'd have to work twice as hard to achieve that. So, yeah, I understand. Daddy Freeze also is sending out a memo to women who want to marry for